It's going. We're going.
Sir Reginald Boshington
Putting that-
III, my good friend.
Mr. Matty B. Good sir. Let's see here. See, I just throw it in the dick. Right in the dick hole.
Right in the dick hole. I can't take it in the dick hole, man. I'm a
Oh.
prude, I guess.
Extension right there, and then boom, bam. Bob's your uncle. As,
Surprisingly, I don't have an Uncle Bob.
no?
It's one of the very few I don't have.
You have a lot of family. You're
A
telling
lot
me
of
about
Toms, lots of Johns, but I don't have an Uncle Bob. Do I?
this. How many cousins do you have?
86 first cousins. On my dad's side.
Do you know them all?
Yeah,
No.
every single one.
Name all of them.
There's lots of Toms, lots of Johns. Seriously, we have thirds and fourths at this point of Toms and Johns.
He's named after his own uncle.
I am.
And is that?
On my mom's side.
And that was because your grandma had 11 kids?
Yeah, so my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side had 11 children. My father is
That's a lot.
number 7, I believe. And the vast majority of them also had 8 or 9 kids.
Did they all turn out okay for the most part?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
One of them has been married 3 times.
Aunt Jeannie, the oldest.
Okay.
You can imagine being the oldest in a family like that, having 10 kids to
Yeah.
essentially be taken care of. She was pretty fucked up. Did a lot of drugs in the 70s. One of my favorite aunts before she passed away, honestly. She's fucking wild. Absolutely wild. Chain smoked like an absolute chimney. But the chillest motherfucker, I swear to God.
Would you rather be first or last born?
Last.
I don't think
Last.
you'd want it middle.
Well, I'm the youngest in my family,
I'm also the youngest.
and I wholeheartedly prefer being the youngest.
Out of how many siblings?
3.
3. So
I
you're
have an
the
older brother and an older sister. My older sister is the first child, very typical first child.
What does that mean?
Perfectionist.
Perfectionist, very type A, very...
Bosch is also the first child. Yeah?
Yeah.
But you're not type A. You are very structured.
I like my structure. Real quick, for everybody listening, Abby's right there. She's not on camera, but I did give her a
Hello.
third mic just for her quick quips, as you will.
QQ.
But it's going to be mostly me and Matt.
Yeah,
but
she keeps me in check.
I am first child. I like a lot of structure.
I know you do.
I like a lot of structure.
I'm the opposite. I fucking hate structure.
I know.
I absolutely
I
hate
know
structure.
you do.
I'm the polar opposite when it comes to structure. Structure stresses me the fuck out.
Hmm.
It absolutely does.
I mean, I even get to a point where I've done too much. I was talking to my grandma about this actually,
Yeah.
where it was just, I know I'm being too rigid if I'm not getting my sleep in check or I'm not showering.
Mhm.
That's where I usually cut hours. if I'm
Sleep
doing
and
things.
showering.
Sleep and showering, yeah.
Sleep and showering.
I'll work out more times than shower if I have to.
Really?
Really?
Stuff like that, yeah.
See, I'm the opposite.
Like, I don't mind being gross.
I hate it.
Me neither.
I hate it. I have
He
a
showers more than I do.
I have a tactile thing.
Hmm.
I think it's part of my ADHD.
Yeah.
Where textures and movement, like feeling things, like if I'm really fucking sweaty, it'll drive me fucking insane.
Yeah.
I hate it. Like after practice, when I used to play frisbee, I would shower after every practice because we would do 3 a day. So we would do lifting, practice, and then some sort of workout after. And I would shower after every one
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't go to class. I couldn't do anything because my brain just kept telling me, "You smell like shit. You smell like shit. You
Really?
smell like shit." Yeah, absolutely.
No, I could be stinky. I'm fine with being stinky.
I can't do it.
I mean,
He
to a
likes
certain
it.
point, the stickiness gets annoying, but I could do. I mean, there's bad times where I've gone like 5 days and
Oh,
still been
fuck
working out and
that.
stuff
Yep.
like that,
I do that too.
and I'm not proud of it. But
My body's gotten used
I
to
do
so
it.
it doesn't like produce as much oils.
point at
on
your
my
face.
head.
Point the mic at your face.
Sorry.
That's better. Now we can hear you. But you don't have the headset, so you can't hear. Just so
Yeah,
you
I
come
know.
in
Like, don't
clear
get me
for
wrong.
people.
I've done months and months backpacking.
Yeah.
Like Continental Divide Trail, that kind of stuff. Where I've been out 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Didn't bother me then, because I'm not with like pedestrians, if you will. But if I'm in public,
You're in society.
I hate it.
Hmm.
I think it has a weird stem from being a people pleaser, because I don't want to disappoint people ever,
Hmm.
especially smelling bad. Like it's like a first impression thing. You like see somebody and like, oh, you smell like shit. I don't ever want to be like
I don't
that.
have a nose for it. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't. I'm
But that's not when I know I'm pushing it and being too rigid, because that's where I'll cut hours.
sure.
Even though a shower can be 5 to 10 minutes and then I'm clean, and it's a big difference between being 5 days gross and everything. But
I can do a shower in like 30 seconds.
I know. And that's where my head's like, dude, just take a shower. Like, have something. I'll put things in the air fryer to cook when I get home and then shower.
Do you
And
like air fryers?
I do like mine.
I hate air fryers.
Why?
It feels lazy to me.
It is.
It's
well,
really fucking lazy.
Well, so I spend 4 to 5 hours meal prepping everything.
I know you do.
And then I warm it up in the air fryer and it crisp it
Okay,
nicely.
so you use it like a...
Crispy.
I put some Pop-Tarts in the other day. That was fucking good.
So you use it like a... Basically, it's a bougie microwave.
Yes, I use it as a
Okay.
microwave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
I hate the people that like... They use an air fryer for everything. The chicken, the fries, the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, just fucking cook your chicken. Just fry it in some oil. It's healthy. No. Just cook it the right way. You can't make chicken katsu in a fucking air fryer, and it
They
tastes
do
the
look
same.
kind of ugly.
What does?
Well, it looks ugly.
The air fryers.
What do you mean?
It's not aesthetically pleasing.
They look like a metal
looks like
microwave.
an egg with a shelf.
An egg.
An egg?
Yeah,
It looks like an egg with a shelf. They're
Oh,
circular
those
and
ones.
there's a little shelf.
Mine's
that
more
pulls out.
boxy.
Okay,
but-
that's fine. I'm okay with boxes,
Okay.
I guess.
Mine looks like a metal microwave.
Okay, that's fine.
It looks like a miniature oven, actually.
Okay, yeah,
So it's kinda
I
like
think
a
I just
toaster
don't
oven?
like the giant
Yeah.
plastic looking things. I don't know.
I don't like the ones that are big and plastic and just.
With the bowls that come out.
I
pop
hate
out.
it. I just don't like air fryers, regardless.
Because you think they're lazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're a culinary artist. Like you.
I like to cook.
Yeah. But you're really good at cooking.
I like to
You've
cook.
cooked some really good meals
He's
for me.
really good at cooking.
Yeah.
I like to cook.
Yeah, you're humble. Motherfucker.
I just like to cook. I enjoy
Yeah.
all the
But
facets
he's
of
also
food.
good at it, so there you go.
Well, after years of working at it, I hope that I'm at least okay at it.
Where-
Like, good God.
When was that first time you were like, oh, cooking's one of my things?
Oh man, that's a good question. Probably when I was middle school, early high school.
Okay.
Not to throw my mom under the bus, but she's a terrible cook. She's a horrible cook. And
Not of everything, just some things.
she has 3-4 meals that are like
Exactly.
exceptional, and everything after that's just. In my household, 2 things. I fucking hate dishes. Dishes and laundry are my like 1-2 punch, knock me out. I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate them, hate them. So if I can avoid them at all costs, I absolutely will. So in my household, if you cooked, you did not have to clean.
Yeah.
So automatically I was like, oh fuck yeah. I don't have to clean?
Mm-hmm.
Done, I'll cook. And then I figured out, oh shit, what I'm cooking isn't bland. It's like not normal white people food. Like I can add a little bit of it's pepper. A pepper's not spicy? Oh fuck yeah. And so I slowly built from there, and then in college I did a bunch of cooking at different restaurants and stuff, and even a little bit after that worked in a bunch of different kitchens. But I think it was at that point, one, out of not necessarily laziness, but out of necessity of just absolutely hating dishes. And then I started to understand, like, you can put all these different ingredients together and use incredible technique to make really good food that's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like in college, the vast majority of college, I lived off of $40 a month for food. But I wasn't eating like Jimmy Dean, sandwiches or...
And ramen. And,
Well, I made a fuck ton of ramen.
but you spruce them.
But
up.
it wasn't American ramen that you just throw in a little bit of water, the packet, you eat it, it's 15 cents. We'd char grill some vegetables, again, 15 cents. On top of it, you'd have a rotisserie chicken that you process down to its absolute bits, and then you make the stock that you cook your noodles in, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of ways to cook very, very, very cheaply, but still have really good food.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the other night, I made Abby and I a ramen, but it wasn't just normal ramen. We had leftover shish kebabs from the other night. We had chicken shish kebabs. and we added in broccoli. We added in all these other things they were all left over from other meals that we had. So it could have been just a scrap meal, throw everything together, call it good. But it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good ramen because it wasn't just, noodles, packet, call it good. We had chicken on there. I did a soft-boiled egg. I did all these other things. I plated it well so you were able to mix things in and eat it how you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my biggest qualm with ramen joints. How the hell can you charge $18 for a bowl of ramen? How?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it has this type of beef or pork, and we slow roast it. Bitch, I can go down the road. I can get some smoked brisket that's incredible. Throw it on top of some ramen with some, a poached egg, or hell, I'll smoke the egg on my grill for 2.5 hours. It'll cost me $2.50,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to sell this for $18? No.
Yeah.
That's my biggest qualm with a lot of restaurants and stuff. I understand you have to have markup to pay your employees and blah blah blah, but dude, I used to work at Ocean and Prime downtown. $75 for a salad that has some fresh cut anchovies on top. $75. They cost them maybe $1 to make.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, here you go. No, these yuppie bitches are like, oh, I love Caesar salad. How the fuck your Caesar salad?
It was a $75 salad?
Yeah.
That's a fuck ton.
I
Yeah.
don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
You can look
No.
at the prices. Do it.
It's embellishment.
Uh-huh.
Make a goog right now.
Goog
Probably
it.
like $28.
28. That's your guess?
Mhm.
You might run out of cord. Just be careful. I was talking about that with Sham, actually, because he applied to one of those. Did you hear that one? No, I haven't posted that one.
You haven't
You're
posted
good.
that one
You're
yet.
good.
I think the last one that
He
was
applied to it and was doing his stuff and trying to make things from scratch.
applied to what?
It was some sort of, I think, sushi type restaurant or Asian inspired restaurant in Fort Collins. No, I don't think it's online yet.
Okay, it's definitely.
I don't think so.
Excuse me. Definitely not online.
But he
So-
was talking about that and how a lot of it was packaged. And I think, are a lot of restaurants going to that model? It seems like more
All of
and
them are on that
more-
model. All of them are on that model. You will never have a quote unquote home cooked meal at a restaurant. For the I'm not saying all of them,
But a lot of
but the vast majority.
yeah.
Because you're talking about once you have a business, yes, you can stay true to the fundamentals of your dish. But everything after that is all about the economy of it.
Yeah.
So there are very few exceptions. There's a couple of smokehouses in Austin. They do it the right way. They do, 36-hour smoked stuff, ribs, brisket. It's hard to fuck up barbecue.
Mhm.
But, excuse me. It's not. It's not hard to do. It's hard to do good barbecue. It's very easy to fuck up good barbecue.
Okay.
If your smoke gets a little too hot, you can taste it.
Yeah.
If it gets too cold, you can taste it.
Hmm.
If you get
All right.
dirty smoke, you can taste
Price
it.
check coming in. The shellfish Cobb salad, gluten-free it looks like,
Gluten.
has bacon, blue cheese, and gourmet dressing for $29.
Okay. I'm wrong.
Made a goog.
The most expensive salad on their list. All the other ones are around $13 to $15.
Okay.
But still, it probably costed them like $3 to make that.
Less than that.
Yeah.
$1.50.
Yeah. And it was 27,
$29.
29.
Yeah, so you're 2,000% markup.
Yeah.
Cobb salad, everybody.
Good old
Ocean and
Cobby.
Prime.
I actually love Cobb salad. I'm not gonna lie. What's your favorite salad?
All of it. But I do, my dressing lately has just been some olive oil and apple cider vinegar with some salt and pepper and some lemon juice on top.
Love
So
that.
that's a lemon vinaigrette.
Yeah. It's really good.
I'm a big fan of homemade vinaigrette.
Okay.
Big, big, big fan.
Is it a vinaigrette just because I use vinegar? Is that what
Correct.
it is? Okay.
Correct. A lot of people think it's, oh, well, this is such a unique, crazy dressing that goes on top. Most vinaigrettes, you have a base, which is your vegetables. You have an acid, and you have a fat. That's all a vinaigrette is.
Mm.
You can zhuzh it up however you want, but the vast majority of the time, that's all it is. And if you make it from home, make it from scratch, it'll blow everything else away.
Mm-hmm.
Because it tastes so clean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong. I love my Hidden Valley Ranch.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. There's nothing better than homemade ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Actual, true
It's even
homemade
better
ranch.
if you make it from the packet.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I love the packet stuff.
It's buttermilk. You use buttermilk. It's fresh. With the packet, of course.
We will agree to disagree.
Anyways, salad speaking.
That's my big problem going out though, is I eat a lot of food. Like if people ask me to dinner, I'll eat a pre-meal and a post-meal, just because serving sizes.
Pre and post?
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, you eat a fuck ton.
I eat a lot, especially in my dinner meals. My dinner meals are my big meals lately. Because I don't.
Because you've
eat,
been doing intermittent fasting, correct?
Yeah, I don't eat breakfast right now, and then I'll eat lunch.
So the way that I've been doing my schedules, I've been doing essentially not a whole lot of breakfast. I'll have a couple of nuts, just something to. I use a mixed nut mix that I get from Kroger. Hashtag Kroger, shout out. No, but I just have some nuts, and then I'll do lunch wherever I get it. With my job, we get a lot of free food from different places.
That kind of surprises me. Like,
Really?
It's really
Yeah.
nice.
Like why, you guys?
Well, the current job that I am doing on the day-to-day basis is providing the CO2 and doing service work for restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not able to serve soda, and more importantly, beer, which is what our gas mixtures push
okay.
through to the taps,
I already picture it.
that's
Your whole thing.
50% of the revenue.
Yeah.
They make an enormous amount on alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly their draft. So we show up, we fix their systems, and then they're like, "Oh my god, thank you so much. Can I get you some food to, pay you back for the service that you did?
Yeah.
We're up and running. We're able to make more money." I'm like, "Well, fuck yeah, fuck yeah."
Yeah.
I had a Buffalo Wild Wings the other day, and he's like, "Anytime you want to come back, man. Thanks for fixing my system. Doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if you're on the clock. You're fixing our stuff. Just swing by. Let them know that, I sent you. Get free food." It's like just up the way. We've yet to go back, but we might.
Cash that in.
It's getting windy.
Yeah, it is. It's been cloudy today.
I've enjoyed the clouds.
It's been rainy for me up in Fort Collins.
Has it?
Yeah. At least last week or two.
We haven't gotten a lot of rain down here.
But yeah.
Before we started, you were going to tell me about what the hell happened.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So
If you want to talk about it.
a much previous girlfriend and I, and this is my account of the situation, we were getting farther into the relationship, and you have
Mhm.
more serious talks, right? And
Getting into the goods, you will.
yeah, and we had a discussion on like kids, and she
Okay.
did not plan on having kids at all.
At all.
No.
That'd be a big turnoff for me.
Yeah, she had a thing. I don't want to speak much for her, but there's still a lot of things going on with her family.
Sure.
And so I think that makes it hard if you have current things that are a problem to think about the future, especially if
That's
they're very
fair.
dramatic for you.
Yeah,
So I understand the reasoning behind it, and like no shame or hate or
No,
anything.
absolutely not.
But like if I'm planning on being with somebody and I want kids for sure, I want at least one of my own blood, and then
Dude,
maybe
I
adopt
cannot-
or something
I
like
cannot
that.
wait to have some little crotch gremlins running around. I really can't.
He told me this yesterday.
I cannot wait.
I can't either.
Little blonde hair, blue eyed, like kitty. I cannot fucking wait. My ideal dream is to be a stay at home dad, homeschool my kids, and just like ride it out.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute dream for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember community college, our speech and communication professor, every class would have an opener of somebody had to say something just to kind of get people to talk
Sure.
a little bit, and every day it was something else, something different. And one question was one of the days, if you could go back in time or forward in time, what would you do? I'm
Back
like,
in time or forward in time?
And I'm like, I'm not going back in time because I don't want to change anything. I'm pretty happy with my life.
That's assuming a linear timeline.
Yeah. So I was like, what do I want in the future? I was like, the only thing I would want to maybe experience in the future is what my kids would be like.
Okay.
And to maybe like 8 to 12 range where they're very playful. And just
8
play
to 12. That'd be a
play
good
with
time
them on the
before they get the puberty bug and end up being assholes.
Yeah.
But also like they're intelligent enough to where you can have conversations with them and be like, "What do you think about this?" And
Yeah.
you're like, "I think it's stupid." And you're like, "You're right."
That's where that
See,
first
for
hit
me, assuming that we have a non-linear timeline, dude, I want to go back to like the Revolutionary War, or like, I want to see Genghis Khan fuck some shit up. Obviously, from a macro perspective, I don't
Yeah.
want to be there
Yeah.
and get fucked up. But I would love to see just some crazy shit. Like, as humans, we have an incredible past. That's why I love history so much. Like, I started off being a history major
Yeah.
in college because I love human history. I love the evolution of human thought. It was like 200 years ago, we were still pulling people apart with horses as a form of torture.
Yeah.
Literally limb by limb pulling them apart like, "What's up, motherfucker?" And then like today we have all these like subtle, I'm not disparaging people's issues and stuff, but like compared to the past, I'll pat you on the back. You know,
Yeah.
get through your shit. Are you
Comparatively.
getting pulled apart by a fucking horse right now?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not. Are you literally killing other people in order to get your next meal? No, you're not. Like as humans, I wholeheartedly believe that we were in a great spot, especially here in America.
Mm-hmm.
If you make more than $30,000 a year, you are in the 1% of the world. People are like, "Oh, you know, our country's so fucked. You know, we have poverty. We have." Have you ever been to a third world country?
Mm-hmm.
Have you? I lived in a third world country. You have people that are literally scraping by to just get the amount of nutrients to just not die.
Mm-hmm.
They're turning in, like, we have homeless people here that are turning in scrap metal to make, you know, $1, $2, $3 so they can go, you know, do whatever. In those countries, they're not turning in scrap metal. No, they're literally starving, and their kids are eating dirt
Yeah.
to fill their stomachs and getting parasites in their stomachs and getting bloated stomachs. Not trying to go on a rant. It just it drives me absolutely crazy when people are like, "Oh, you know, our country's so fucked." And are you kidding me? We're one of the most prosperous countries in the entire world, in the entire existence of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
That we know of.
Yeah.
You know, I still kind of believe that the Egyptians way back in the day in the pyramids, they were pretty fucking advanced, but that's another story. Wow, big tangent. Sorry about that.
Big old tangent. I might try to adjust this.
Oh, that's right in my gauge. We're about it.
A little bit closer for you.
Is that better?
You should scoot over, maybe.
I can absolutely do that.
It's okay.
No. Make him scoot over.
Brief intermission, everybody.
The Scooch mission.
Abby, tell us your deepest fears.
Horseshoe crabs.
Oh, they're fucking terrifying.
Okay, don't affirm my fear, but that's my biggest fear. They're just
That's your biggest fear.
yeah, I
Not
mean
drowning or being set on fire
no.
or crippling loneliness
No.
or the never-ending heat death of the universe.
I mean hell's all right. You know?
We're already on that path, so.
Okay. Horseshoe crabs.
Horseshoe crabs, they're not like spiders, they're not like crabs. Horseshoe crabs.
What are they? If anything, octopuses scare me.
Why?
Why?
They're so
I mean, no.
they're delicious.
Squids.
But
Squids.
they can
You can have
camouflage.
So
Octopi
can we.
can't. I mean, okay, so squids and octopi have beaks, with little mouth-eating parts. There have been recorded squids, the giant squids. Those things are real.
They're
1000%.
absolutely real.
And the only
We know
reason,
very little about the depths.
The only reason that there's stories of squids eating ships is because their dead body parts end up floating. So they live in the
people or the squid dead
the
body
squid
parts?
the squid dead body.
Yeah.
The
So
Kraken.
they end up being at the mesopelagic, I don't know, the lowest layer of the ocean, and they come up and they slap the sides of ships sometimes, and that's where you get all the stories about squids attacking ships. It's just their body parts, but they are still real, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're
Okay,
definitely
anyways.
real.
I believe squids are scarier than octopi, but hey.
What is your biggest fear? Sir Reginald Washington III.
Well, there's a lot. Like drowning. I do not like the idea of that.
Drowning, you kind of just fall asleep.
True.
No, I almost drowned
Oh.
when I was in high school. I tried to hold my breath for way too long, and then I passed the fuck out. And it was a mildly enjoyable experience.
Enjoyable.
Yeah, I woke up after getting pumped in the chest a handful of times. Staying alive.
Pumped in the chest.
Yo, right my dick. Yeah. My dick is my chest.
Yeah.
No, but woke up, absolute euphoria. When your brain is deprived of oxygen, you wake up just a blast of serotonin. When
Would you do
comes
it
back
again?
on. Oh, dude, my buddies and I, in Scouts, we used to choke each other out until you passed out, and then we'd leave each other. That's probably why I have so much brain damage. We choke each other out until we passed out, and you wake up, and it's an insane sense of euphoria when you wake up. It's insane. We do that for hours.
Would you ask people to choke you out, or would you just surprise attack people? Like, how would you
One and the
set
same.
this up?
No, same way.
It could be both.
Oh, yeah. No, dude, Scouts is a crazy thing.
That seems pretty sketch.
It's not that sketch. Maybe it's sketch.
Little sketch.
It's a little sketch.
Yeah.
It's a little sketch, but it was a different time. Now we're in the time frame of he hit me,
Yeah.
and they go to jail.
Yeah.
I think it's been brought to the absolute extreme,
It's the pendulum swung the other way, right?
and to not a good effect, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, when we were in Scouts, the dads would all drink beer and whiskey. We never knew it was beer or whiskey. They had their coffee cups all day long. They weren't drinking fucking coffee. I know that now that I'm an adult. They would just send us out in the forest and like, don't die. And dude, we would do like rock dodgeball. We would do fucking full contact, capture the flag. Like, kids broke numerous bones every single trip, and
Yeah.
it was awesome. But like, we also learn the consequences of being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Where now, I don't know hardly anything about the current status of the BSA, Boy Scouts of America, but I know it's soft as shit compared to what we went through. And I loved Scouts. Dude, I did the craziest shit in Scouts. I did a 150-mile backpacking trip in the Roosevelt Wilderness area. We saw moose. We saw bear. We did a backcountry canoeing trip in Yellowstone. We took a hot tub bath in a fucking hot pot in the backcountry of Yellowstone. We did the BSA survival challenges, where they send you out with a fucking heart monitor and a oh shit radio, and you try to survive as long as you can. And you're like 17, 16, 15. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I learned self-reliance through tribulation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the current young generation that we have right now, and I don't know if I'm Gen Z or Gen X or what, I don't know. But I can absolutely attest to the fact that they don't have that. And I think that's a loss on the young generation.
Yeah.
I really do. Because I learned so much, not only about myself, but I can rely on myself. I can rely on those who have done the same things. One of my best friends, my best friend, his name is Spencer. He's a pilot. Crazy motherfucker. Hilarious dude. Hilarious based off of his own misfortune the vast majority of the time, because he has the worst look on the face of the planet, I swear to God. But dude, we used to do the craziest shit. And we learn from our mistakes. A little kid touches a burner. Oh, ow. It's a natural human response. That's how you learn. Not, there's a safeguard, you touch the safeguard, oh, don't touch that. You're not going to learn from that. You learn from that pain. You learn through the struggle. You learn through the trials and tribulations, in my opinion. People can also say, well, we should protect them from having to deal with any of these struggles, any of these, any pain. You should protect them from pain. I completely disagree.
Yeah.
You need pain to grow.
Yeah.
Pain is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the best building blocks as a human being. It's one of the best building blocks as a human being. Because pain breeds curiosity. When you are in pain, you're like, well, why am I in pain? And it forces you to reevaluate your current situation. And then you can formulate conclusions. Whether that be physical pain. Oh, shit. Well, I probably shouldn't have touched that. I'm probably not going to touch it in the future because it's red hot. Or, I was with this individual. I gave myself to them. They broke my heart. Maybe next time I should be a little bit more cautious or more, forthcoming in the way that I approach relationships. And then you move forward. It's a learning experience. I think the overall aspect of, oh no, we need to protect people from having any sort of pain. Why? You're never going to fucking learn a thing. Mm-hmm. If I live in a padded room, that padded room will become my existence, and I will never actually progress as an individual. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be fucking the Michelin Man. Just padded as a motherfucker.
Bubble wrap boy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to be a human. Mm-hmm. I want to continue to progress, and I want to help the people around me progress as well. If you live in this weird bubble, which is the way that I feel like a lot of the woke society they were around, like, well, no, we don't want them to experience anything. No, why? I want my kids to experience pain. Obviously, I don't want them to experience pain. Pain sucks. But at the same time, I want my kids to experience things that are painful so they can grow as individuals, to then have the forethought to then be better individuals moving forward. The whole construct of pain is bad. I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Where do you think, because we've outlined pretty well where no pain goes, like how far that's too much of extremism of not letting kids fail at all, right?
Correct.
Where do you think pain goes too far?
The participation trophy.
Yeah. Where do you think pain goes too far, though?
To when it becomes dangerous. To when it becomes dangerous.
What define dangerous then?
Like lasting consequences for existing choices.
Okay.
So lasting issues, lasting injuries, tearing a fucking ACL. Like,
okay.
I think there should be some sort of construct. We're talking very macro here.
Yeah.
We can get into the specifics of specific scenarios.
Like
but
when you would go on those trips and friends would break bones at least once a trip, right?
Oh, yeah.
That maybe was a little too far then. Under that standard, right?
Under that standard, yeah, it was a little bit too hands off. I also can't blame the dads. They're working 9 to 5s. They hate their lives. nine times out of 10. It's a vacation for them.
Yeah.
they're able to take their sons, like, go fuck off.
Yeah.
If I was in their same situation, man, you know, pre-2008, you know, a lot of them worked in the stock market. A lot of them were doing this, that, or the other. Terrible, stressful jobs, trying to keep up with the Joneses. That's my personal nightmare.
Yeah. The suburban dad.
I would love to be a suburban dad. However,
He wants those white New Balances, you bet your ass.
oh, they're going to be so fucking comfortable when I get there. But at the same time, I will never approach my personal lifestyle to be that life of, oh, well, I see Jim Jones has a new Tesla. I should probably get a Tesla. Like, that comparative reality is horrible. That's the same thing that everyone does on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have this and I don't. And it creates this depressive reality around yourself. I don't subscribe to it, personally.
Mm-hmm.
But back to your point, I do believe that there should be some sort of construct around, obviously, safety.
Yeah.
You know, we're not playing tackle football on a cliff.
Maybe irreversible damage.
Exactly.
Definitely an easy boundary, right?
Yes, but I do wholeheartedly believe, I really, really, really believe that there should be some sort of hands-off approach. Helicopter parenting, I think, has ruined hundreds of thousands of kids. Like, my parents, after we got done, I was homeschooled until I was in 6th grade. The construct was essentially finish your school, they'd push us outside and lock the door. You're at your own devices. You're your own entertainment. You know, we didn't have video games. We had some video games, but, like, not really.
Yeah.
But we had, you're on your own devices. You're going to go do your own thing. Your own entertainment. Now, some of the most fun I ever had was, like, with a couple of sticks and a pine cone. And I was, like, pretending that I was Babe Ruth hitting homers.
Yeah.
It was awesome. We also there was a little creek by my way, and we dug a 20-foot deep hole that was, like, 15 foot wide. We diverted the water while we were digging, and then we had a fucking swimming hole. We were a kid. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. My buddy tried to bring a couple of girls there one time.
How old was you?
I was like 15, 16.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is I was like actually in high school, but I still had, you know, the feral child in me, if you will. We dug this big ditch, and my buddy, he brought these girls that were should not have come.
The water's dirty.
Yeah, so they showed up.
Is this safe?
And my buddy said, "Hey, do you guys want to go swimming?" That's how he, like, presented it to them. And me, dude, I'm a bougie redneck. I'll put that out there. I'm a redneck in the way that I was, you know, risen as a child. But I enjoy the finer things. I understand the finer things. Like, I've worked in high-end restaurants. I love bougie-ass food. I love bougie-ass alcohol. Mm-hmm. Like, I could talk high-end alcohol all day, high-end food all day with anybody.
Yeah.
But, dude, there's something about sitting next to some muddy water, and it's hot as shit outside, and you jump in, and you come out, and you're a little dirty, and it's great. So he brought these girls to this mud hole, and they're in these, like, nice-ass, like, bikinis and blah, 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 and they're wearing their fucking Lululemon shit, and I'm sitting there just in the water like, what's up, motherfuckers? And they show up, and they look at him, they look at me, they look at him, and they're like, it's kind of dirty. I was like, we can get dirty? Let's go. No, but, like, that's how I grew up, man.
Yeah.
I grew up in the dirt, getting your hands dirty. Like, there's nothing better in this earth for me than getting my hands dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Getting my hands in the earth and dirt and being grungy. Obviously, I like my showers at the end of the day. After
Mm-hmm.
I'm grungy, it's a beautiful thing. However, I love getting my hands in the dirt.
Yeah.
I love it. That's why Abby and I like gardening so much.
Especially the big fat worms.
Big fat worms. We were doing some gardening work at her aunt's.
BFW.
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 Right in the butt. No, we were doing some gardening at her aunt's, and it was we got paid to do it, which was incredible. She was very generous, paid us way too much. in my particular opinion. But
She had a lot of plants.
she had a lot of plants. But we were digging in there, hands getting dirty, grimy, great soil, dude. It's black as fuck when it's wet.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's good. And there was a bunch of just big ass fucking worms, and you're just like, look at this. It was fun, dude.
Yeah.
It's fun as fuck. Sorry. Back to
Where am I at with that?
family issues.
Oh, yeah. And
Blah,
so
blah, blah, doesn't want to have
disagreed
kids.
on that, and it's like, I'm not going to force you to have kids. You can't do that. That's a little immoral.
That's a 50-50 decision,
yeah,
obviously.
you both got to be on the same page
Yeah.
about, especially something about that, right? So that's kind of the main reason we ended it.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
That's the big one for me.
Yeah. And we had a lot of other fun times and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
a
liked
lot
you
of good
guys.
times. Yeah.
It was fun.
But
That was when we were
You
still
can't-
living together.
yeah. Mm,
Not at the end.
well, you knew about
You
yeah.
guys
when
were
we started
together.
dating.
You
Yeah.
guys were together when
when we were living together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we had those big snowstorms that came in.
Oh, we did a fuck ton of mushrooms.
And we had
one of
a-
those times.
Unshovel her car because she had to get to work.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep. That was after that same night that we did a fuck ton of mushrooms.
So fun.
That was so
Those
much
were
goddamn
so fun times.
We did, that was
We
a
walked
really
to the liquor store.
Yeah, we
in,
literally-
like
did.
we
3
literally-
feet of snow.
yeah
Yeah.
we
It was a great time.
It was a
The
great
dude was
time.
even there, so we're like, hey, why not?
I'm not gonna lie.
We
Living in
also
the
set up
house,
the tent in the living room downstairs
Yep.
and played Red Dead all
day.
The
long.
tent.
all day. We got
In a
fucked
tent.
up playing Red Dead Redemption 1 on
With
a
couple
PS3
with a couple pillows.
on a couple of pizzles. we got so fucked up, and we were just playing Red Dead like, "Duh, duh, duh, I'm on a horse." No, but living in that house was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There are very, very few times that I look back on that negatively.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
It was
fun.
a great time. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
hmm Especially getting snowed in.
Snowed
we
in
didn't have
was
to worry
fun.
about work, and so we're just stuck there.
Well, and I was working decking at
Everybody
the
together.
time, so like, I would come home just dirty as fuck. Like, all right, motherfuckers, let's go. What I always found very interesting was we're only a couple of years divided in age,
Mhm.
but like the maturity level, the maturity gap. I was a working adult around young college individuals, and having those long intellectual conversations of just being like, are you actually thinking about your opinions
And your future.
and your future,
nonetheless.
or are you just taking what is being fucking jammed down your gullet and just regurgitating it? I love those conversations.
Mhm.
One, because I'm a mild narcissist, like, yeah, get fucked, motherfucker. I beat you in this conversation. But also at the same time, I'm just like, I loved those conversations and being able to be like, do you actually believe what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Do you? Or have you thought about everything? Because the vast majority of the time, it's just regurgitation of information that a lot of the time wasn't even factual. I love that.
hmm
I love that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I miss that. Sometimes I'm like, I miss walking outside and having 4 people in the kitchen. We're all trying to cook at the same time. Where I loved our family dinners,
hmm
family breakfasts, family just family everything.
Like you're getting ready for work, we're getting ready for school. I
Mhm.
maybe had a class to teach.
mm-hmm.
We're all making eggs at the same time.
Mhm.
4 people, in
4
one
pans,
kitchen,
4 eggs.
making toast and eggs and
And I
bacon.
love the contrast of like well-cooked eggs. What the fuck is that? Okay, those are okay.
Yeah, those were fun. Yeah, the house was cool too.
Yeah,
Just a nice backyard and
nice
everything.
backyard.
Yeah.
I liked living there,
hmm
but I don't know I'd ever buy that house. Honestly,
Maybe to buy to rent.
buy it to rent.
Yeah.
Buy
I
it
don't
to
know.
rent. We've been
To
looking
own.
at a number of properties.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna wait because the financial market is in the absolute
It's not
fucking
worth it.
shitter.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
We were looking at houses and it's like 400,000 and it's like 800 square foot.
Yeah.
So it's like a fifth of what that house was.
Yeah.
No basement, no carport, no garage, no land.
Yeah.
No nothing. We're like, yeah, we'll probably wait.
I'll pass.
The housing market's going to crash. So we'll just wait.
I know we're going to do a recession, but I've heard
without a shadow of a doubt.
the real estate will stay pretty stable is what I've heard.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah?
Well, because interest rates are going up, meaning it's going to be more expensive to get mortgages over the long term. And we're already seeing, you can literally look on Zillow. There's a bunch of houses that are like, oh, repriced 30% cut, 25% cut, 20% cut. It's because a lot of the people that invested in the real estate market, they were using it as their supplemental income. They had extra money, so they're like, oh, we'll throw it into this, we'll throw it into that. Companies did that too. And now that things are starting to tighten up, they're like, oh, let's sell. Well, that saturates the market, allows it to be a buyer's market, not a seller's market, and then they can't ask for nearly as much. And therefore, prices drop, and you can ask for a hell of a lot more just as a buyer without having to use nearly as much equity.
Yeah. Have you put thought to just getting some land and building your own thing?
Yeah, so I've actually put in a couple of bids. We've tried to get a couple of 10-acre plots out by Como.
Okay.
The issue is, previous to this current market, they were going for 300% over asking cash. We can't compete with that.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get 5 acres because I can build tiny cabins. I can do all of the work myself. I can do the caissons. I can do all the framing. I can do the insulation. I can everything. Painting, drywall, finish, done. I can do everything. It would cost me about $3,000 to build a decent sized tiny cabin. And then the thought process was, well, build a couple of those, rent all of them out via Airbnb, and create a little, Airbnb empire. And then from there, based off your profits, you can borrow more or use the profits to buy something else. The issue was, we couldn't get any land. We couldn't get any land. Any bid that I put in, we were outbid 200%.
Yeah.
It was 10 acres, 5 acres at the time, $15,000. They would sell for, 45.
Yeah.
45 cash. Done. No problem. Well, now, I was just looking, a lot of those properties are back on the market now because, the market's in the shitter. The economy's in the shitter, and it's just looking like it's going to get even worse. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not optimistic personally. I don't believe in the administration that we have right now. I think they've done a horrible job. They were given a building economy, and all they had to do was just let it go. Mm-hmm. They decided not to do that, and we have what we have.
Yeah. This morning, a fun pattern I identified with me and my grandma was that every time she was with a guy she was serious about, she built a house with him.
Interesting.
And that was after marrying. So when she met my grandfather, they built a house together when she was in her very early 20s, if not 19, somewhere here around Denver. I think she was saying near, I forget where she said, in the Denver area, though. And then he left at some point, and they built another house with this other guy named Taylor. I never knew him, and he left at another point. And then Grandpa Larry, for me, which would be my step-grandpa, her current house she's in and living now, he's now passed. They built that house together as well. So she's built 3 houses in her life, which was kind of crazy to think about. And she never identified that pattern of, like, with guy, build house. And I don't know if she looks at it like that.
I think that's genius.
Went with that.
I think it's absolutely genius because you're just building equity.
Yeah.
You're building equity based off of your current situation, and then based off of that, you can either borrow, or you can sell and then reinvest, or you can be in your current situation. Let's say the market increases. Sweet. Sell, make equity, do it again.
Yeah.
I think that's genius.
Yeah. coupling of with another partner was interesting to me, though.
That is interesting. But also makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
For me, I would never want to do that alone.
Hmm.
I would love the support in any of those big movements, those big situations. Could I do it alone? Sure.
Yeah.
Would I want to? Not necessarily.
Yeah. And in the
I
first
need that
house-
affirmation.
Hmm.
I absolutely need
Somebody
that
to
affirmation.
support.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. In the first house, she had, I think, 1 or 2 kids at that time and was still in college
Oh, hot
and was
damn.
building a house.
Yeah, that's the difference between like current generation,
That's
older
what you're talking about.
generations. You know?
She had my dad on a Friday and then had the weekend, and Sunday her stepmother on my grandfather's mom came down to, was like, how do you want me to
Okay.
support you? She was like, watch the kids, I'm going to class on Monday, and had my
That's-
dad on Friday.
Yeah, and that's how like my grandma was. You know,
Yeah.
the one that had 11. She was a military nurse in World War II. Fucking went through the shit. She was strapped up with a pistol. Like she claimed a couple of confirmed kills. I don't know. I can't personally confirm them.
Yeah.
But badass
Crazy.
woman.
Yeah.
And did crazy, had a fucking 11 kids. Can you imagine having 11 children?
I can't imagine shooting that many out of me.
11 fucking children through your gooch, just pop, 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 pop. I can't fucking imagine it. I really can't. And so
Do you know the age disparity between the first and 11th?
it's like maybe a year.
That's impossible.
No. From the first kid to the 11th kid.
Oh,
So there would be at least
I thought
like
you
11
meant
years.
from kid to kid. I think it's
Probably back to
I think it's
back,
like
eh?
13 years total.
Yeah. So just being pregnant for 13
Literally
years
just
straight.
bop, 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 kid.
Yeah.
I don't remember who said it, but they said that hard times create strong men
Mhm.
and strong families. Strong families create weak children. Weak children create hard times, and hard times create strong
Yeah.
families. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And I think we're in that transition right now to where maybe we're going to be in hard times to create strong families.
Mhm.
Back to our point of saying pain creates resilience. And buffering that to me is fucking insanity. It's insanity.
So I was going to ask you this. How does this translate into how you feel like you'll raise your kids? Because you don't have kids now.
I
But
don't
I
have
bet you've
kids
thought
now.
about
Correct.
teaching them, right?
Oh, I cannot wait to be a dad.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to have kids. Well, 2 things. I plan on homeschooling my kids. I was homeschooled until I was 6th grade. I think there's a lot of benefits for that. One, you can tailor your educational style to that child. They have one-on-one education, which I think is beyond important. Like when I went into middle school, I was leagues ahead of all of my peers. Leagues ahead. And then I got into a complacent style because I was like, oh, I don't have to work hard? Nah, fuck it. I'll just chill out. I plan on homeschooling my kids because I think it's a great way to not only teach them in the way that they should be taught, but also clear out all the chaff that is our current educational process. I think there are a lot of educators that have an agenda, political or otherwise,
Mhm.
that I don't subscribe to.
Yeah.
Nor do I want my children to be subject to. That's not something you can choose as a parent if you send them to public school. They get put in a classroom. You don't know what their teacher's agenda are, whether that be political or otherwise.
Couldn't you just mediate through that of them being trusting in you and being like, I heard this. Is this true? And you'd be like, yeah, kind of, but actually this has a little bit of an edge to it. And
Yes,
balancing
but
it out for them.
that's a secondary effect, right? They're being taught all these things, and then they ask something to you, being like, hey, do you think this is right? But they're still being indoctrinated into some sort of narrative, regardless. I don't like that.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily a control freak, but I don't like that much of a hands-off approach. I don't believe in it. If I want my son to be this badass motherfucker and to just fucking slay life,
Mm-hmm.
could he get that through public education? Absolutely. How rare is that? It's rare as fuck.
Yeah.
I believe a lot in the public education system that we have. I believe it's very broken. I believe that it's very, one, underfunded, which I think a lot of people understand that. The solutions to that are very complex because here in Colorado, a lot of our education funding comes from housing taxes.
Mm-hmm.
People wholeheartedly believe in funding schools, but they don't want to raise their property tax, so they never vote for it. My mom's a teacher. She's an elementary school teacher. She's always like, I don't understand the disconnect between funding schools and then the disparage of not actually funding schools. Well, then when you look into it, a lot of the time it's based off of, well, I don't want to raise my taxes. I don't want to pay more. I don't want to do it. It's a lack of personal responsibility. I don't subscribe to it. So I really want to, this is best case scenario, I would love to homeschool my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you can tailor the education to your child's learning style. I'm crazy ADHD. I was prescribed 80 milligrams Adderall with 4 10-milligram boosters throughout the day. Crazy ADHD. My education was never sitting down and learning things via a classroom growing up. It was going to science camps. It was going to farm camps, learning how things grow. You know, we learned about how plants grew because you have the sun, you have photosynthesis, but we were watching it.
Yeah.
You had sunflowers growing. You had, you were watching it. The ones that didn't have sun didn't grow.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that had sun grew. So you were able to do basically like a scientific experiment, but as a child, and understanding the scientific method slowly and surely through physical representation,
Mm-hmm.
which you can't do on a large scale when it comes to, the public education system.
Yeah, with thousands of kids.
You have your PowerPoints and you have someone telling you what's going on. You can't do that. That is a luxury that I wholeheartedly want for my children. I don't remember the initial question that you asked.
What, I guess, particular lessons would you give to them, though? Because you said you want them to be, not necessarily this exactly, but to feel pain in the sense to learn, right?
Specific lessons. I can be very macro on this.
Okay.
We can get into the micro, but I don't think that it's necessarily productive.
Yeah.
Since I don't have children
Mm-hmm.
currently. From a macro perspective, I want my children to know pain's not a bad thing. Growth is not a bad thing. Just because your current situation isn't great doesn't mean that it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people associate negativity with depression.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this really shitty situation, man. Fuck, man. I need a beer. I need to chill out. I love my beer. Don't get me wrong. I love my alcohol. I love my whiskey. But I really do I really try to not associate negativity with substance abuse. I love my substances. However, I want to teach my children, yeah, this sucks. You're sore. You're in a shitty situation. But that's telling you that you're growing. When you're lifting,
Yeah.
right? You get sore after lifting. That's not a negative response. That's your body telling you, oh, we're growing.
Mm-hmm. You did something today.
You did something.
Yeah.
We're growing. In a standpoint of life, oh, this is really fucking hard. Yeah, I have a bad situation that's going on right now. This is really fucking hard. you're feeling the soreness in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It means you're growing. It means that you're building ways of coping in the future. You know, I've been through some shit. I've been through some crazy shit. You know, I've been in school shooting. I've been in this, that, or the other. Do they suck? Oh, fuck yeah. I was depressed for years. Years and years and years. I've tried to take my life a number of times. However, I would never take any of that away. Because I believe that trials and tribulations build character.
Mm-hmm.
Character will continue to build future generations. I've almost taken it up upon myself to where I want to better myself to the absolute extent that I possibly can in any way, shape, or form, whether that be physical ability, whether that be, you know, physical prowess. I'm not a huge dude, but I'm pretty fit. I try to stay fit. I try to eat well because I know that it helps my brain to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I try to excel in every work institution that I work in because I want to learn everything I possibly can. I can build a house. The only thing I can't do is pour a foundation. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I can build a house from the ground up. I can do the framing, drywall, electrical, plumbing. I can do all of it. Because I believe that as a man, as the not necessarily provider of the household, Abby makes more money than I do. It's stupid and mildly
Ayo.
emasculating. Just because of the social construct we have as a, you know, Judeo-Christian society. Yeah, she's a badass. But I want to be able to provide for my family.
Yeah.
And more importantly, as I have children, I want to instill all of these things
Yeah.
that I was never taught.
You want the know-how, and then you want to pass that off.
Exactly. You know, my dad, I love him, but he is horrifically stunted when it comes to any sort of physical assertion of skill.
Mm.
My dad cannot build a square box if you were to pay him $1 million.
Yeah.
He can't do it. He just can't. That was never his thing, you know. That was never something, like, he never took on the building aspect of his family. That was just never a thing. You know, my dad barely distinguishes between a flathead and a Phillips head. Me, on the other hand, I want to build something with my children. I want them to learn those skills. I want them to understand the difference between, you know, wood glue and Gorilla Glue. I want them to know the difference between a decking screw and a construction screw. I want them to know the difference between using a 2x2x2 versus a 4x4x4 inside of caissons in order to build a deck. Why you need to have hardware. Why you need to do X, Y. You know, there's a million examples I can provide.
Yeah.
I want them to know that.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really, really do. Because I believe not only are you more self-sufficient, I will never need a handyman.
Mm-hmm.
I will never need a handyman. Growing up, if there was anything that was broken in my house, my parents would call X, Y, Z, you know, we had a number of names for handyman work. They charge him out the fucking ass. They would fix a cabinet and it would be $200. I understand it's because no one knows how to fucking do it. It's based off of scarcity, supply and demand, blah, blah, blah. I personally charge a fuck ton for the work that I do. But still, I never want to have my kids have the disparage of being like, oh, we don't know how to fix this. Abby's dad is a great example. He can fucking do everything. I have a lot of experience in the construction space, blah, blah, blah. Her dad builds literal, like, automatic machines from scratch by hand to do everything. It blows me the fuck away and it inspires me to fucking... It's insane. It's insane. Every time I talk to that motherfucker, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so out of my league. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
The lights of fire under my soul. I'm like, oh, okay. So you can do fucking, metal milling? All right, I'll be back in a year. I'm gonna learn. Like we just got some parts to build a very special tool, and we're doing all the milling ourselves. And he's gonna teach me all these things. Like I want to learn these things. I think that's enormously important. Enormously important. Talk about your dad. I have to pee really bad.
Okay, go ahead. The man knows how to sew.
Oh.
Believe it or not.
He's a bad motherfucker.
He, so as a child, he's the third kid out of 4.
Okay.
But his parents really wanted 2 boys and a girl. What ended up happening was he was another boy. So pretty much his whole life, growing up, he was supposed to be a girl by his parents' standards because that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
So they had
So
another
he
child.
didn't-
It
okay.
ended up being a girl. Story over. But my dad only got the hand-me-downs. But he was out there with his dad, my grandpa, who is no longer alive, going to catch dinner for the night. It's a deer that his dad just shot with a revolver. He'll tell me stories like that sometimes. But yeah, he basically learned. He argued with me that he knows how to sew because it's just a machine,
Yeah.
just like a lathe, just like a sawmill, whatever.
Yeah.
He does sandblasting stuff, literally. Oh no.
What are these machines? Are they mechanical, or what do they do?
Mostly. So, the one I've used, and he's taught me to use actually, it's called a lathe.
Okay.
And you basically put a wood on one end, metal, and it clamps with like a 3-way clamp. It clamps it on. And you take this knife and you carve out product. Yeah, so he can make bowls, like parts for like his drill bit and whatnot. There's plenty of videos on YouTube showing you how to make bowls and vases and this stuff that guys made from scratch. And
What I've really enjoyed from him, from the entirety of the time that I've known him, is he has this mentality of fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't know how to do something, use YouTube. Use the available tools that you have. Fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
Love that.
mm-hmm.
I love that natural human curiosity that he brings to the table.
So my grandma was doing all those things when my grandpa was still in the picture, and then he left. And she was raising 3 kids for most of the time. Their whole life she did it, and then there's one guy for a little bit, and then he was gone. But mostly she did everything.
Good old
And
Giorgio.
Georgina. And she'd give calls to her dad, I guess my great-grandpa
Poppy Henry.
that I never met, and Grandpa Faither.
Faither. Grandpappy Faither. Grandpapa.
But she'd tell him all her problems, and she's a single mom raising 3 kids on a teacher salary.
Yep.
And he's like, so what are you going to do about that? And she would ask her for money, him for money or something like that. And he's like, can't do that, but tell me your plan, and then next week tell me how it worked.
Yep.
And it was just like, fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
And what I liked about that was you're not totally on your own. Come back next week.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know what went right, what went wrong. And then obviously whatever didn't go right, you take away. And whatever went wrong, take away. And whatever went right, incorporate and keep doing that.
Yeah, we have a support system,
Yeah.
but also at the same time, fucking figure it out.
Yeah. No handouts here.
Yeah, there's no handouts.
Amen.
And I think
Amen.
that's a huge issue
Mm-hmm.
in our current society of like, here's all these things you can have. Go on, do your things. Why do you think there's this systemic issue with people staying in the welfare system?
I think that's fine if enough responsibility is taken up.
Well, I wholeheartedly
And
agree.
there's
But what's lacking is the responsibility.
Yes. Yeah. That's the thing.
I'm telling you, as an inherently lazy individual, if I was given enough money to make ends meet
Yeah.
without having to do a goddamn thing, I'd fucking do it.
Yeah.
I'd absolutely do it. I understand the situation. I absolutely understand the situation. But that, on the other, standpoint, being a working individual, paying taxes and Social Security and blah, 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 fucking get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to fucking figure it out. I didn't come from money. I didn't come from, great prosperity. Hell, my dad had a stroke when I was in 8th grade and we were broke as fuck. We almost lost our house. Like, fucking figure it out. Fucking figure it out, because my parents did. I got a job when I was, 15. I've been working the rest of my entire life. Put myself through college, blah, blah, blah. Paid off my student loans. Fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's an enormous lacking aspect of how we educate individuals today. To where we see adversity as this negative thing. Oh, you're having a hard time? It's okay. We'll coddle you. No, you're having a hard time? Hell yeah. You're having a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking figure it out.
Yeah. Well, like you were saying earlier, a little bit you alluded to, I think maybe too much these days we put judgments on things. That sometimes when in conversations I'm like, you know nothing about this particular thing.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad
it's
thing.
just the way the state things are right now.
Yeah.
And you know things about other things most likely. But this particular thing, you don't know about this at all.
I think there's an insane discontinuity and like almost disparage put upon ignorance. Ignorance is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
People have this super negative connotation towards ignorance. No, ignorance is awesome.
It's where you are right before you learn something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I've been told by multiple individuals, oh, well, you're just ignorant. Saying that it's a negative way of talking towards something. Well, hell yeah, I'm ignorant. Teach me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the next step that isn't being used.
Yeah.
Where, oh, we're talking about this thing, especially when it comes to politics. Oh, my God. Let's talk about this certain thing. Well, I disagree with you. It's because you're fucking ignorant. Fucking ignorant bigot, prick, blah, blah, blah. Well, then teach me why I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Let's have a discussion about it.
Intelligently.
In an intelligent conversation that's civil, not emotional. Let's talk about what the fuck's going on and move forward. I don't understand why that's so fucking hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have differing views from you. I have very controversial views with a lot of individuals when it comes to, the environment, the economy, blah, blah, blah. I'm a green thumb conservative. I'm a moderate, but the way that I describe myself is I'm a green thumb conservative because liberal doesn't mean what liberal used to mean.
Yeah.
The historic liberal is moderate, if not moderate right, at this point in time. So, Lou, what are you doing?
He is giving me a bath.
He's going to town on your fucking leg.
It's like I
Good
put
God.
barbecue sauce on my leg.
Nah, he'll just eat you up, man, because you're thick.
Hi, cutie.
You like some
That's your
thick
sweet boy.
legs.
You come up here?
Oh, back what I
Come
was
on.
saying.
Come on.
Yeah, protect your goodies.
Yeah, definitely protect the goodies because he will abuse them, use and abuse them. What was I saying? I completely forgot.
Big old baby.
Big old. He is the biggest of babies, man.
Big old chonker, too.
What was I saying? Oh, I was talking about how there's this weird negative connotation to ignorance that I think is it's so flawed.
Yeah.
Ignorance is a beautiful thing. Ignorance allows for people to have conversations and to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, teach me about things. But there's this disconnect in our current society of where, oh, you don't understand the topic? Well, then fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, then teach me.
Yeah.
Teach me, please.
I've been trying lately to do my best of not putting good or bad on things and just understanding what things actually are right now.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if I don't know this, okay, then let's learn what actually it takes to do such a thing.
Yeah.
Especially with all this, I mean, I didn't know anything about audio or video or anything about
Sure.
this stuff. So learning all this, I was like, I don't know this. I need to find somebody that does get
Yep.
it. And then I'm ignorant to all. I was ignorant to all this. A year ago, I
Yes.
was very ignorant to video editing and had to look up tutorials and all that kind of stuff, and now I know.
But that's
you know?
that's a beautiful thing about ignorance, is if you it goes two ways, right? You can either you can wallow
Mhm.
in your ignorance and just maintain,
Yeah.
or you can use your ignorance as a driving force to not only better your understanding. There's a squirrel in the tree right there, and it's flicking its tail, and it's staring me
I thought you were
down.
gonna say nuts.
No, it's
Flicking
fucking.
I
its
mean,
nuts at me.
sometimes.
Flicking its nuts like, what's up?
Yeah, squirrels
there was
have
one- there was
big
one
ass-
squirrel-
Big ass nuts.
Oh my god, there was one squirrel that was out here.
gross
That
penis.
He was hung like a motherfucker.
Dude, it's
It
disgusting.
was disgusting.
You're like, oh my god, that's
Like
like,
your nuts are bigger than your head.
uh-huh.
What do you eat? Please tell me your nutrition plan. I want to know. I want to be you.
Speaking of food, I like the phrase, don't yuck
You-
another person's
Yum.
yums. Yep.
Agreed.
Because,
Where did we hear that? Where did that come from?
I don't remember.
It was
Uh,
from the podcast that we were listening to.
I heard it from a food video on YouTube.
Yes, but it came from a podcast that I was listening to just the other day that popularized it.
Anyways.
And it was based off of Kinks. They were
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Don't yuck another person's yum.
I agree with the statement. Just try everything once.
Yeah.
At least once.
Well, I believe that in everything in life. I will always try. I'll try everything once. Except, maybe meth.
Dear God.
Maybe once.
Never heroin. Never heroin.
Never.
I'm not a big needle.
I'm
dude.
mostly thinking about like eating strange foods.
Oh,
not doing
food?
strange
Oh, I'll be
substances.
eating fucking anything. I've eaten anything. You know,
Rocky
Hmm.
Mountain oysters?
I've had Rocky Mountain oysters.
Give me a
Squirrel testicles.
Oh god.
Have I had squirrel testicles? Yeah, I have. I actually have. I've had squirrel testicles instead of a jalapeno popper.
What?
Yeah.
At a restaurant?
No, this was at my uncle's place. So in Missouri, in the buttfuck nowhere in Missouri, in Branson, Missouri. Outside of Branson, it's called Nixa. It's in the holler, dude. The buttfuck nowhere. So we would help. We would go out there in the summers. We'd help him on the farm and with the cattle and shit. And we went squirrel hunting all the fucking time because small game at the time, it's been far more regulated now, but at the time small game was fair game most of the summer. Obviously not in the spring since breeding season, but you get a jalapeno slice, a nice slice of jalapeno. You'd wrap it in a little slice. The way they would do it, you take a jalapeno, you wrap it in bacon. You'd slice it thin. And then you throw it on a pan on the grill. Okay. So it would kind of fry. You'd flip it. And they'd put just one nut in each one of the little
One
poppers.
nut.
And then they'd put cheese on top. You get your protein, you get your spice, you get your bacon.
You get your nuts.
Can't even taste it.
It was great. It was great.
That does sound good.
Boar nut tastes fantastic.
Boar.
Ew.
Wild boar nuts,
Just don't say it like that.
Why
please.
that nut over any other nuts?
it's fatty. It's
Oh.
fatty as fuck.
Greasy?
Yeah, it's like bacon.
Mm.
It's like a little nut of bacon. Little bacon ball of goodness.
Zulu likes
He's
that.
drooling just thinking about that.
I know he is.
Look at that smile.
You like some boar nuts? He's like, yeah, I like boar nuts. No, they're good. Deer nuts okay. I've had a lot of nuts in my mouth. Honestly, the more that I think about it, I've had a lot of nuts in my mouth. They've all been delicious. I could be turned gay.
Catch me on
Maybe.
a not 5-day shower and
Yeah, fucking clean yourself.
Be
and I'll
pretty
put it in my
salty.
mouth.
be like a saltine cracker, but fleshy.
I'm not about that.
Ooh, how do you feel about sardines?
Like them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A nice club cracker?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
oh,
I
hell
fuck with
yeah.
that.
Abby's all about sardines.
I keep a spare in my car.
I keep a spare.
She does. And
Do they not go bad?
Mm-mm.
We had to feed Zulu one time with some fucking sardines, and his toots were horrible. They were horrible.
We were camping and forgot food for a day, so
Oh.
sardines it is.
So we had some fishies.
He had some fishies. personally, I can't do it.
For your stomach?
I don't know if it's my stomach, but I'm just not a huge fan. I do have to be quite careful with what I eat, because I have Crohn's. So I eat lots of little bits throughout the day. If I eat a really big, fatty meal, oh, dude, I'll be fucking shitting my brains out and puking for like days.
That's a gut issue, right?
It's a gut issue, but mostly it's a what's the name of it, Abby? Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Leaky gut?
No, it's an autoimmune disease.
Oh, okay.
So basically, you get a bunch of
a chronic inflammatory bowel disease that affects the lining of the digestive tract.
Yeah, so if
Thanks, Jamie.
If I eat too much food, what's up, James? Maybe I am gay. Goddamn. If I eat too much food, it'll either come out one hole or the other. Or if I eat shitty food.
Okay.
The big thing that I've found is the quality of the food. So if I eat shitty food, again, one hole or the other, or both. And if I go into a really bad Crohn's attack, it'll go into like 3-4 days.
Like fast food, are you thinking? Like shitty food?
Not all fast food. Peanut oil fucks me up.
Okay.
So like Chick-fil-A fucks me bad. It's hit and miss with Taco Bell. It's like sometimes I can eat Taco Bell and I'm totally fine. Other times I eat Taco Bell, it's fucking horrible.
No,
Yeah.
it's always horrible.
Well, it's bad on the toilet, but I don't go into a attack. Just shitty food. Yeah, just like shitty ingredients. I can't eat McDonald's.
Have you ever shat yourself?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I did that like
It
2
was-
weeks ago.
Oh my God, I was so sad.
I've done that this year too.
No, literally 2 weeks ago.
No, he called me. We were just chilling by the
So we were at the
creek over here.
Creek by our apartment. We were having a nice sunny day, basking, just Carol basking in the sun.
Brought the speaker, just was
Mhm.
sitting with some music.
And I felt a little rumble in the tumbles. And I was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And about halfway through, dude, I shat my pants.
He had to walk to the apartment.
Was it a lot?
Oh,
Oh.
it was bad.
He had to throw it all out.
I threw away my shorts, my undies, my everything. And then I took a fucking shower. What are you doing? Chippy! What are you doing?
So, I think
No.
it was last year or 2 years ago. Hi, Jewy. What? Junie. You got a lot of
What's
cords.
up, little Jewy?
You gotta go around and go see Daddy.
You need your gamaka?
We got some. I was at my parents' house and we got some handy downs from my family.
Sorry, that was really racist.
I didn't even hear what she said.
It's okay, the mic did.
The mic did. I'll see it in post. We got some handy downs from my family and I was at my parents' house.
Some handy-downs.
So I was like, fuck it, I'll try these athletic shorts on. Oh, your turn. Come on up here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah.
No, she won't just chill. She will eat your face.
And so I was trying on these shorts.
Yes.
And then third pair of shorts in, I just shit myself like randomly. Like,
Was it okay?
it was out in
No,
a-
I have to ask. Was it one of those where it's like, you think you have to fart and then you just shit yourself, or was it just like?
There was no
Oh
warning.
my God.
There was no warning.
Yeah.
I was 1
So-
second.
Every time I have a Crohn's attack,
Uh-huh.
every fucking time, it goes from I'm perfectly fine to what the fuck's coming out my asshole right now. Every fucking time. It's unreal. It has no warning, no nothing. Like, I was literally walking back, I was like, I'm gonna go pee. And I'm halfway back to the fucking apartment, and it's just... I'm like, oh no! I'm fucking waddling back to the fucking apartment. Sorry, you were trying on shorts and you shat yourself.
Thankfully, it was in between shorts. Just chilling.
In between,
It was,
okay, so
it was
you're
in our
just-
dining room too.
Oh,
you're
no.
No, my family wasn't there,
So you're just straight undies,
and I'm just undies.
just
And then one
hanging
moment,
with some dumb.
I'm reaching for the other undies. Next moment, there is shit in my pants.
Isn't that interesting?
Not a lot, maybe like a golf ball's worth. It was
Oh, so
pretty.
that's a little baby bit.
It was
That's
like a slushy though. It was like wet and heavy.
Ew.
okay, but that's still a little like dirt squirt.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's all it is.
The
Dear
bathroom's
God.
like 8 feet away.
Oh,
And
dude,
thankfully
that's
Thor was
pedestrian.
there.
That's fucking pedestrian.
And I'm yelling, Thor! Thor! It's like, what? Can you give me underwear? It's like, why? It's like, I shit myself. It's like, no fucking way.
That's still
You
a
did
Wanna
not
look?
believe me.
Look
That-
at my diaper.
Look at my
Dude, that's still a
You wanna
pedestrian
see?
golf
You want
ball.
to see?
I'm talking about when I was walking back, dude. I had a metric fuck ton in my asshole.
I bet you get bowling balls worth.
I'd say like
Softballs?
a
Tennis.
softball.
Softball.
Softball is a great analogy.
Okay.
Both sloshy yet still circular for some
Okay,
reason.
enough.
Sloshy and circular.
Yeah, and not great.
No.
Not great.
Does it go down your leg ever?
Always.
That's the worst.
My undies are never equipped to hold the load.
I can get new underwear, but then new socks, new shoes,
See,
new pants maybe.
I live in 3 shoes. I live
Okay.
in moccasins in the winter, flip flops in the summer, and then Crocs in between. So Crocs are always washable. Flip flops I can kick off by the time it drips, and then moccasins. I'm normally wearing pants, so the pants ruin before my moccasins are. So I never have to worry about socks or shoes
That's good.
ever,
That's good.
ever. I'm in work pants most of the time, so I can just throw those out and order some new ones.
Yeah.
What is your, shoe of choice, Bosch?
Yes. What is your shoe of choice?
Summer, I love my Chacos. I would go barefoot if my feet could take it. I love going barefoot.
I'm
Same.
A big
I
barefoot
accidentally-
guy.
well-
I'm a big
I like
barefoot
barefoot.
guy. If I could go barefoot all the time and it was socially acceptable, I absolutely would. I would just have leather feet.
I would do it regardless. I'm worried about like glass or screws or like my feet aren't that tough.
Well, then fucking
Get
get good, bud.
callus. Get
Yeah.
calluses.
Get good.
Got to do it more.
Just maybe I feel like
But-
they have practice walls for wall climbing. They might have practice boards for barefooting.
You want to break
Or
them
just-
in, but cuts don't break them in. Cuts just fucking hurt. You know,
No. Cuts build character.
they
Okay,
build the
but-
spirit, but they don't build the feet.
Amen.
Scar tissue does.
Maybe.
It gets tougher. It calluses easier.
Well, if it's on the bottom, then every time you step, you open it up again.
It
Then
gets
why
infected.
was that one guy on like Survivor Man? It was like dual Survivor. He
Mhm.
never wears shoes.
Because they were already calloused.
Were they trained though? Were they well-worn feet?
I don't know. Maybe.
Mhm.
Fucking get good, bud.
Right. Really, it's in my oldest pair of shoes because I've been really trying to wear out current shoes. Like my blue shoes I wear to work right now, which are just tennis shoes because I'm on my feet all day, are like 5 or 6 years old.
Is it an aspect
like-
of economy or is it just based off of principle?
Both
Okay.
economy, but then principle of I'm not gonna throw away something that still works, and so if it's a shoe that fits on my feet, it still works.
I wholeheartedly believe that. My last pair of flip flops, which Abby broke. She broke them.
No comment.
I had them for almost fucking 4 years.
Mhm.
She was always like, "Why don't you get some new?"
I
pair?"
was
like,
there. No, I was there when you bought them the last time too.
So 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
2 years. 2 years. It's 2 years, but they had many miles.
Many miles.
Many a miles. And she flat tired me and they broke.
It was supposed to be a joke.
I bet you felt bad.
It wasn't a joke.
No. I
She
need
bought me
him.
new ones.
I need him in. I need him in the ass.
You
She
corn
sure
dogged
did.
him.
Uh huh.
Oh, corn dog. That's a good one.
Yeah,
I
you
love
never
corn
called them corn
dogs. I love corn dogs.
Your brother hates them.
I know. I got him a sticker, like a bumper sticker for his car that says "I love corn dogs," even though he hates them. It's a great time. Can't hate a corn dog.
You really can't. Well, you can.
You can. If
Have you
it's
ever
more-
made corn dogs from scratch?
No, that
Dude.
sounds good.
They're beyond bomb.
Yeah.
Take a hot dog, you grill it until it's a little bit charred, and then you do flour, egg wash, cornmeal, then you fry them with a stick in the middle. Homemade corn dogs are divine.
They don't seem that hard either.
No,
Mm-mm.
they're easy as shit.
They're like popsicles. Or donut holes.
Donut holes are actually not super easy to make.
I made them. Thank you very much. It was very easy.
Well, you're a fucking genius, I guess.
Thanks.
Goddamn.
You were telling me that you guys were talking about like traditional gender roles in relationships.
Yes. So we were on a walk. We have a really nice green area behind our apartment.
Awesome.
It's really nice. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we have a really nice green area. We were talking about, well, context. I've been watching this super culty documentary about polygamy.
And the show Blue Island? Blue
Yes,
Eden.
Blue Eden. Both of which are both culty, but also, like, super crazy. I've been getting strangely into the occult lately. But this was talking about the LDS church, but the fundamental LDS church, so FLDS, and how they're about polygamy, and how they have this guy that's the prophet, blah, blah, blah. It's a great documentary. It's on Netflix.
What about gender roles?
I'm getting there. So we started talking about, my comment was, oh my God, I cannot imagine having that many wives. 63 wives. She's like, why? And I was like, I couldn't be a good father to all those children. She's like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I believe that it's a 50-50, and I wholeheartedly buy into the Christian construct of wife, submit to your husbands, as a man treats the relationship as the church. Will give everything to that church. Will sacrifice themselves, will sacrifice their body, will sacrifice everything. When people say, oh, it's a 50-50, no, fuck that. It's 100-100. But even more so, I think there's a lot of responsibility and standpoint on the man to set precedents for the children.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that that can't be done by the woman and blah, 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 but I'm saying in our particular situation, I wholeheartedly believe that when we have children, I want them to know the hierarchy in the household and that we are equals. But not just equals, but we are partners in the way that we run the household. There are two fundamental portions of the roof that keeps everything safe. And we were talking about this when it comes to polygamy. And I was like, how the fuck can you possibly construct a sound foundation for the family structure? Maybe it can happen. Sure, it might. But in the way that my brain works, there's no fucking way. When it comes to the family, when we have kids, there will be the child at home, hopefully homeschooled, if not, whatever. But there will be a very sound resonance of this is what's right and what's wrong. But we will also allow for fuck-ups. You can fuck shit up. If you want to go out and do some stupid shit, I will allow the consequences to enable it. Obviously within, the construct of extent. Some reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But if you want to go do some stupid shit and get hurt, yeah, you're going to feel the consequences. I hope you feel the consequences. Because those are all micro steps to what it means to actually be an adult in the real world. You want to give them building blocks to be able to be a successful adult. And all those little micro steps of understanding, I fucked up. These are the consequences. I don't want to ever feel that again. Those are all points of growth. We were talking about the construct of, like, personally, I couldn't imagine having so many wives. Because personally, I believe I want to be there for my children. Have the time and the experience in order to have those conversations with my children, to build them as individuals to be successful in life. And they have so many kids in this particular scenario, how can you possibly have enough time to instill all these different lessons in them to be successful?
Yeah.
You can't. Fucking like 70 kids, 63 wives, you have 100 kids. What do you give 2 minutes to each kid a day?
Mm-hmm.
The limiting factor is time. You have 100 kids. You can't do that. There's only 365 days a year. You give each kid 3 days. 3 days out of the year, they're not going to learn shit. They're just not. That's best case scenario. And I think we have a big issue in our country right now of absentee fathers, whether it be fathers that are in the home that don't engage and don't do their best. And there's a lot of things we can get into there, which I don't think we have time for. And then there's just absentee fathers as if there's not a father in the home. And I think children wholeheartedly benefit from a strong structural standpoint of having both a masculine and feminine construct within a household. I don't care who provides that masculine or feminine. You know, Abby could be very masculine, I could be feminine as fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you, it could be provided by 2 men, 2 women, but that is essential in the construct of a family building system, because the masculine provides a huge aspect in a familial construct, and as well as an emotional construct. So does the feminine. I believe everyone has a masculine and a feminine, but if you're lacking that, you will grasp for straws in what's lacking. And
Whether
I think
you know it or not.
whether you know it or not, absolutely. And I think that's a huge disparity in not only divorced homes, but also just lacking a parent, whether that be a single mom, single dad, blah, blah, blah. You're missing an enormous structural outlook within a familial structure. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if you can supplement it. I'm not an expert in any of these things. But I do observe that there's this enormous lacking portion of a large portion of our cultural society. And I think it associates to so many of the problems that you find within our overall society as a whole. You know, you have people... Mental illness will be there. Some people just have fucked up heads. They do. They'll do stupid things. But I think there's this really lost proportion of percentage within the overall construct that just, they'd be perfectly okay humans if they had a structure to where they were able to learn coping mechanisms for very, I'm not going to say menial problems. I don't know a lot of people's lives and blah, blah, blah. But you can get through things. If you have the structure in order to get through them, you have the time to get through them, and you have the building blocks in order to build upon them, and the basis of being hardship's not bad. Hardship's a good thing. I think that would benefit the entirety of our society. But we have this weird thought process of, if things are hard, things are bad. No, it's not bad. It's a beautiful thing. It builds you. It builds the people that are around you in order to build yourself to be a better person through adversity, to then have skills to never let that happen again. And so the way that I want to build our household, you know, this may change, you know, I think relationships are fluid.
Can fluctuate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I think relationships are a beautifully fluid thing. You know, I can wake up and be like, I'm horny. She's like, I'm not. All right, cool, whatever. But that's very basic. I think at the very high level, I think that it's very important to have a structural basis in a determination as a unit of both male and female, or whatever the fuck you are. I don't give a fuck. But there needs to be a structure of like, okay, how are we going to teach our kids? Do you want... Okay, first and foremost, like you were just saying, do you want kids? I absolutely want kids. I cannot wait to be a dad. I really can't. I cannot wait to have some crotch gremlins running around being like, Daddy. Like, I cannot wait to have these little sponges that I can teach the beauty of life to and show them life experience. I cannot wait for that. I think, obviously in a relationship, the first thing is, do you want kids? And then past that, I think it's very, 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 very important. How do we want to approach teaching them things? Is it a passive approach of just let the system take care of them? I believe in the government. I believe in the education system. They'll be fine. Or do you take an active approach of, I want to teach them things that I know. I've been through some shit. I believe I have a lot more experience than some of these, 19, 20, 21-year-old teachers that haven't been through some bullshit. They haven't been through their father having a stroke. They haven't been through being in a school shooting. They haven't been through this, that, or the other. They don't have the coping mechanisms that I have, that I've developed over years and years. I want my children to have that because I've been through it, so I can teach them the tools that I have. I don't trust strangers to have those tools and to instill them, especially in a classroom of 45 kids where it's not one-on-one, where it's not individualistic learning. It's sit down, read what's on the board, take a test, move on. That was never of my learning. That was the biggest stunting of my learning when I was in school. By far. So, again, I think, do you want to have kids? How do you want to approach teaching those kids? And furthermore, when those kids become adults, how do we support them? Are we going to support them? Are we going to be helicopter parents even if they're in their 20s? When they go to college, are we going to be calling their college professors asking them why they only got a C? Those are all really big questions, and I think they're things that aren't addressed. You could be dating someone for 4 years and still never have those conversations, and I think that's so bad. I think that's so bad. We'll go back to the ignorant statement. I think that's beyond ignorant when you approach relationships. You can approach relationships just for the sex. Been there, done that. You can approach relationships just for the emotional validation of being in them. But if you want to be a serious, serious person in a serious relationship, why start small? Mm-hmm. And I think that's this big disparage within our dating system we have now. You have Tinder, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're hot as fuck. We're going to go fuck. And then maybe we'll fuck a couple more times. Then we'll fuck after that. I like hanging out with you, blah, blah, blah. Maybe let's start dating. That's so superficial.
But they don't agree on anything.
Mm-hmm. Not a single goddamn thing. Fuck. One of my buddies, he was dating this girl. They got engaged. And they start having these conversations of, well, do you want to have kids? He wanted to have at least 3 kids. She only wanted 1. How are we going to raise our kids? Are we going to raise them in the church or not? He wanted them raised in the church. She did not. Why wasn't that,
wait that long to
why
talk
wasn't that
about
talked
that?
on like date 4, date 5? I don't understand why that's so taboo. Like, I understand date 1, I'm sitting across from Abby. Do you like sushi?
Green flag.
You like sushi.
Flag.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
I want 5 kids. I want all of them to be named James. If we have
Red.
any girls.
Red.
Exact.
Red
like,
flag.
I understand that. I understand that first dates should not
At some
be.
point, you got to talk about it, though.
But why wait until you're fucking engaged?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I have a example, and I don't want to be too specific because it might be too on the nose for some people I know. But
I got a big old nose. We'll talk about it.
I can tell you after probably, but you don't even know them. But they're engaged.
Okay.
And I was around them when they were having a discussion, and it wasn't malicious or anything. Very respectful the whole time I was there. And then after we were done doing our thing and stuff like that, I leave, and then later on, I'm more friends. I know the guy more through the girl. Me and the girl are very good friends.
Okay.
And so I hear from her, that it's turned into a fight, and more the guy didn't leave it alone. And I was talking to her, I was like, this is more of an issue of like your guys' communication
Absolutely.
than the actual issue you guys were discussing just to begin with.
Well, 95% of fights within relationships are a lack of communication.
Yeah.
When we fight, which is very rare,
Don't
almost-
make it emotional.
almost always it's a lack of communication.
Yeah.
Never because someone's ever actually done something fucky.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
No, you're good. But not to be too specific, but it wasn't that issue. But for one, they never talked about that. So then when I was bringing it up and we were talking about it and it was all respectful, then like, I think it got into the guy's head of like, oh, this and that. And then
Yep.
they never had
Yep.
that actually, they
Yep.
never sought out that problem. And they were a couple that's planning on getting engaged and have a date and stuff like that. And I'm like,
Gotcha.
let's have these conversations before we lock this in. And
Yeah.
a lot of people get struck with that.
They
And
get struck hard because talking about family, talking about kids, talking about these things, talking about how you want to raise your kids, they're so in our current.
They're not socially taught
That's what I'm saying.
per se.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. Is they're not socially not only taught, but they're seen as like this weird social abrasion.
Mhm.
Are you approaching dating as if, oh, you just want to have a good time, or are you approaching dating seriously? Because if you're not approaching dating seriously,
yeah.
you better fucking talk about that.
But realizing the learning is through some of those pains.
True.
Like, I've made some of the biggest gains in my relationships, whether they haven't gone through or not, when I've had those hard conversations of, I have a problem with you with this. We need
Absolutely.
to figure it out. Or if you have a problem with me on this, we need to figure this out.
I would
right?
not be approaching our relationship and be as good as a boyfriend as I am. I do pretty good. I'm not perfect, but I do pretty good. I would not be the man that I am if I hadn't gone through the bullshit of my relationship previous to Abby, where I was in 4 years of just fucking hell. Hell, 90% was self-inflicted because I dated a girl that wanted things that I will never be. I will never be a backyard barbecue. Good shakes. A backyard barbecue. I want this white picket fence. We're both gonna have doctorates. We're both gonna do these things. We're both gonna be successful and have a boring fucking life. That will never be my reality. It just won't be. That's what she wanted. Abby, will you move your mic up?
The fan.
Thank you.
There you go. Just pointing at the fan's not good.
Sorry.
You're good.
And so through that whole relationship, I was able to learn, oh, I can communicate these things. I need to find an individual that will hop on a sailboat with me and sail around the world. Like that's what I needed. But without going through the fucking bullshit,
Yeah.
I was never able to understand those things.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Spencer, he got engaged. I will conservatively say she's a cunt.
Oh, I was going to use the word pill.
No, she's a cunt.
And that's a conservative
Yes,
point.
it's conservatively.
Yeah.
I will call her a cunt. Sorry for all those who get offended by the C word. They got engaged, and then she was so incredibly emotionally abusive to this man. So emotionally abusive. But he was blinded by the construct of like the Judeo-Christian, like, I need to find this girl, she's in love with Jesus, I'm in love with Jesus, and we'll be in love with Jesus together, and we'll move on. They never had the conversations of, I want this, I want this. It was always like this emotional hierarchy. It was never just like, this is what I want. Cut the chase, this is what I want. And I believe those conversations are beyond important when it comes to relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, it's weird and taboo in our current dating society of bringing that up day one.
Yes. Which I think is fair.
I think it's beyond
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you should wait until you're dating for a fucking year to be like, I want kids.
Mm-hmm.
I want 3.
Yeah.
I want to name my first Matthew Bruce Allen Bush Jr. I want my second to be Ankin Mathen Bush. But like,
Yeah. Yeah. And looking back, maybe there was definitely signs, but maybe it was I just didn't. I thought it would work out after some
we're all
time.
blinded by booty, my friend.
Yeah,
We're all
or
blinded by booty.
whatever it was. But
sometimes the head's just so good that your brain just erases. It's okay. It's okay.
yeah.
It's okay. I believe in you. It's okay. Sometimes the head just erases your hard, your
The
fucking
hard drive.
your hard drive mainframe. You're like, what? Who am I? Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah.
I am human.
I am human. I need protein. I like gym. Boobies, nice.
So, but this is. I thought it was interesting what you said. Of it doesn't matter who's masculine or who's feminine, but me or Abby will portray those roles at times.
Absolutely.
Right? Do you think more likely most people will fall under that, where sometimes you'll get hit from the woman like that and sometimes you'll get hit from the man like that? Or do you think it's going to be more that traditional situation of more the man being masculine and more the woman being feminine?
I think in overarching standpoints,
Yeah.
I think that we fit within our own traditional roles.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fucking matter. I think masculine and feminine, those are weird and arguably polarizing, labels that we put on particular portions.
They're
within a
objectively polarizing because they're opposite sides.
Yeah. But this is a grand, overarching reach, if you will. But even when you see in gay and lesbian relationships, you will have a masculine presence and you will have a feminine presence. The vast majority of the time. I'm not saying every time, but you will. You will have a dominant presence and you will have a passive presence. We can say masculine, feminine. We can say an enormous number of things. But when it comes to a relationship dynamic, you will always have a dominant and submissive. It may flip-flop, it doesn't matter. And even in our relationship, it flip-flops quite often. I may be a dominant in a lot of the aspects of our life, but I'm also very submissive in a lot of aspects of our life. I don't give a fuck what we do on the weekends. I don't. Abby can take, the dominant hold on whatever the fuck we do. If we hang out with family, if we do this, that, or the other. But there are also other things that I take a very dominant control over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's
The point on.
yeah.
You take the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We will both take a masculine or feminine if you look at it that standpoint. The way that I look at it is it's not masculine or feminine. It's more dominant and assertive and submissive and
Passive.
passive and understanding
Mm-hmm.
and supportive. It's never someone takes control and the other just goes along with it. Oh, fuck no. Fuck no. If I don't want to do something and Abby wants to do something, I'm not just going to be like, all right, we'll go along with it, whatever, I fucking hate this. No. I will never do nothing I don't want to do. She's the same way. She will never do nothing that she doesn't want to do. Ever. We support each other in things? Absolutely. But we'll never do nothing we don't want to do. It's not like I'm controlling the situation and she's just going with it. That's not how this works. And that's not how I believe it should work. In any relationship, there's always a give and a take. You can label it as masculine and feminine. I have an enormous number of friends to where it's flip-flopped, to where the woman is the masculine and dominant individual, and the male is the feminine, submissive, and supportive. The vast majority of the time. That's how their relationship is built out. It's very healthy. That's how they do things. But I think that you will always have a dominant individual and a supportive individual. Call it masculine, feminine, whatever. I think it's a way of going about a relationship and two people going about this thing we call life. If that answers your question.
I think so. Yeah.
I think we're both dominant.
We are both very domineering individuals.
Do you have any input on that, Abby?
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Pretty well said.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Basically, I think we're both pretty dominant. We like to judge people a lot.
We judge the fuck.
I don't know.
I believe
I don't
that.
know
Oh
if it's
my
healthy,
God.
but we just really like people watching.
People watching is one of my
It's-
favorite things.
it's more
Not
fun than
only does it
movies.
satiate my ADD, because I'm
We
able
just
to
go,
just
isn't that interesting? And then they leave. Like, we'll never see them again.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
they're NPCs.
I think it's pretty
in our,
harmless. Yeah, we think people are Sims a lot. It's really
Yeah.
funny.
I think there's a hard argument to say that we are individuals living in a simulation, and the people that are around us that we don't have direct connections with are just NPCs.
Yeah.
They're built by the simulation.
I'm not saying that we don't care about them, but they're
Yeah.
just.
But they're just they're passive individuals.
Yeah.
I've played The Sims. There's a lot of passive individuals.
Mm-hmm.
They could be in their own little world where they have the people that are close to them and they're playing their own game. But to me, nah, they're just NPCs.
That passivity scares the fuck out of me.
I know.
That scares the fuck out of me.
Same.
The 9-to-5ers, so to speak,
I don't understand it.
it blows me away.
You and I are very similar in
In
the
that
way that
sense.
the way that we approach life, to where we like to grab it by the balls and see wherever this dragon takes
Mhm.
us.
Yeah.
Because if you feel resistance, you know you're doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I applaud the construct of wallowing in my own mediocrity. I fucking hate it. That's why I left UNC. Because everyone there was wholeheartedly content in wallowing in their own mediocrity. They love just that. Well, we're not the best university. We're not the best programs, but that's okay. I'm like, fuck you mean?
Yeah.
Fuck you mean? We're a terrible frisbee team.
Yeah.
We're a terrible university. I'm not dogging on UNC. They have a very good nursing program. Blah blah blah. I hated it because
Yeah.
everyone was just very complacent. I hate complacency. Why are you complacent in your life?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of things in my life, aspects of my life, that I'm very complacent in. But I still wake up every day and I work my ass off every
Mhm.
day. I don't like wallowing in my own mediocrity. I don't like a sedimentary lifestyle. I've never liked that.
Yeah.
Neither do you.
No.
I know you don't.
No.
Neither does she. And that's why that we're all in
Yeah.
this thing that we call life together, because we all subscribe to the same mantra of life of we don't like to wallow in mediocrity.
Yeah. Even if it's something like passive, like just going to a lake or paddleboarding, like you guys, like we like to be getting after something.
We like to be getting after something.
Yeah.
We literally fucking bought paddle boards just because we could.
Mm-hmm.
Because we could. We got the dogs' life vests because we could, and they fucking loved it.
Yeah.
They fucking loved it. I got burnt as fuck. Like, I have some crazy
Those
fucking
are
tan
good.
lines right now,
Your
dude.
left leg's more than the right, too.
I know, and I have no idea why.
Angle of the sun?
Nah, I think it's inconsistent lathering.
Oh.
Yeah.
Zulu also rubbed most of the sunscreen off of his back when he was sitting there. So
Like, my back got fucking fried. It's because he was sitting there and he's like cuddling up next to me, trying to be like, Daddy, don't let me drown. Yeah. He did what he did. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a grand old time.
Yeah.
But like, we could either do that, we could sit here and fucking watch
Some YouTube and
YouTube or Netflix. I can get sucked into another cooking show. I could watch another 12 hours of MasterChef like I did 2 weekends ago. Like, I get sucked into that. But then the next day, I can't do it.
yeah.
I can't do it. my body's like, the fuck are you doing? We
Yeah.
can't sit anymore. We can't do it.
You get stuck in those things, and some people make that their thing.
That's
those
my
things
brother.
you get stuck into.
My brother
you know?
will play League of Legends for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Before that, it was Modern Warfare 2. Before that, it was Halo 2. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
You're getting mentally satiated. But that's it.
Yeah.
You're getting mentally satiated. And I understand, like, the dogma of, oh, you need to relax for a day. Fuck yeah. We relaxed all day today. We were going to go to Bandamere. We're going to do a fuck ton of things. And then we just didn't because we needed to take a breather. I'm working tomorrow. Abby's working tomorrow. Both of us work a 6-day week this week. She worked 6 days. I worked 5, which I normally only work 4. I work 4 10s.
Yeah.
And then I picked up an extra shift yesterday. So we just needed a day to just chill the fuck out.
Which doesn't mean doing nothing.
Which doesn't mean doing nothing.
Yeah. No, it's productively doing nothing because
Precisely.
it's like sleeping. Like, you would think sleep is unproductive because you're wasting 8 hours of your 24
Absolutely.
not doing something, but then actually that recharges you for doing more things, for doing those 6 dayers.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Sleeping is just like recharging on a day off.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you're not doing anything, because you are. You're actively
Recovering.
actively recovering. My personal active recovery is sitting next to the fucking river, having a beer, chilling. I fucking love that shit, dude.
I personally enjoy going shopping.
Yeah,
It's a little bit of a...
I hate shopping. I hate it.
You like the hat you saw today.
The hat was really
Okay,
fucking
then.
nice.
That's what I fucking thought.
It's this as like Aussie felt safari hat, because I have that hat that's behind us.
Yeah.
That's my like adventure hat, except it's kind of fucked up. It got fucked up.
The white or the
The
brown
white.
one?
The brown's hers. The
Oh,
white's
okay.
mine.
Okay.
It's my grandfather's shooting hat.
Hmm.
It smells like gunpowder. It's incredible. I love that hat. But I need a new one because that one got fucked up. It got sat on. It broke the straws. It's not great anymore. So I was looking at a new one today. It's nice as fuck.
Yeah.
It's nice as fuck. I do like that aspect of shopping. But shopping exhausts me.
Yeah.
It's hard having an objective to something that you'll never find, most likely. Especially if you have an idea in your head of what you want. Like, it's not just going to the grocery store and getting, like, a tomato.
Hmm.
It's like, I
That's-
think about mostly what you wear, you know?
Being more aimless when you go out there, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hate it. I
Yeah.
hate it. I'm very.
That's what makes it exhausting.
I'm strategic in the way that I like to go shop.
Yeah.
When I go
Objective.
to the store, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna cook, what I'm gonna get. I don't ever have a plan.
Mhm.
Ever.
I love it.
I don't ever have a plan. But I find this thing, and then I find inspiration for the next thing, and then I build this thing, and I build that and the other, and so on and so forth. Shopping for me is just so tedious. So tedious. I hate it.
Would you self-describe as being very creative?
I would not describe myself as being a creative individual. I strive for creativity. I would not say that I am inherently creative.
Okay. Because to me, you have a lot of ideas. And to me, that's creative.
I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
It's because my brain's always thinking about a million things at once. I think that's just a secondary output of my brain. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm a creative individual.
But isn't that creative to have so many ideas? Like, most people don't do that, typically.
I think a lot of people do have those ideas. They just never actually bring them to fruition.
But then if
or-
that's not commonplace, that makes your creativity uncommon.
I would say my tenacity for bringing ideas to fruition is different.
But I would say you have so much more ideas that don't actualize than you actually do actualize.
Yeah,
My perception of you.
maybe.
Like, I feel like you have a lot of ideas, and then
I have a fuck
you
ton of
still act
ideas.
on them. I'm not saying you just make up things, but the ratio of things you do and actualize compared to things you think about, I think there's a huge disparity there, which is why I would say you're more creative.
I would argue that I'm a curious individual.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm a creative individual. I'm very curious about an enormous amount of things.
But
I would say
you plan things out to the extent of
Yeah.
what products they need to be created and whatnot, and I think that's creative.
Yeah. Like curious is, oh, what's this? Let me get some information. Oh, that's cool.
Like
I'm going to move on.
Like a hobby almost.
But
Sure.
like you have
Okay.
blueprints of this agricultural restaurant of farm to table and stuff like that.
That's true.
Ready made.
That's true.
Like that's creative.
It took time
that took
to make that.
like
That's
you
true.
created blueprints.
Agreed.
Sure, I'll concede. Maybe I do have a
Yeah.
creative mind.
You do.
I'm also an addict of getting to the core, and
Yeah.
like I love the idea of coming up with the core of something and building it out from there. I'm addicted
Yeah.
to. Are we gonna do farm to table? A farm to table restaurant? All right, let's take it to actual fucking farm to table.
Yeah.
Let's grow all the produce. Let's grow all of the animals. Let's grow all of the meat that we have. Have it all in house. Have it all be governed under one roof. Let's control every aspect to where if you want it to actually be farm to table, let's make it actually fucking farm to table.
Mhm.
Let's have the farm and have the table and control every aspect in between. I think it's when it comes to that stuff, it's because I'm a fucking control freak.
Hmm.
I don't want. Well, it's not necessarily control freak. I don't want anyone else to have a linchpin to where I can't complete my goal.
Hmm.
I don't want anyone else to be able to tell me, you can't do this because I hold this little carrot in front of you.
Okay. So creative is the best word I got, but to me it seems like there would be a better word out there to describe that. But it has an
know.
essence of creativity.
That has an essence
But
of
like
creativity.
you didn't
I don't know.
necessarily make up farm to table, but you did put together something of like, I don't know, this whole like the whole blueprint to me is creative.
Go on. Yeah, so for everyone listening, I want to create a hydroponic farm to table and true farm to table.
Everything's
Restaurant.
done on site.
Everything's grown, farmed on site. If you have steak, it's coming from our cows. If you're having pork, it's coming from our pigs. If you're having chicken, quail, duck, you're having it from everything that is grown on site. If you're having vegetables, if you're having thyme, rosemary, anything of your herbs, it's all done on site. I want to do a hydroponic system to where we grow our fish, to where we grow our vegetables, to where we grow fucking everything, to where I can control the diet of all of my animals, to know that they're going to have the best meat and taste ratio. Period. You're not relying on a farmer to have good quality meat. I control that.
Do you
I'm going to
think-
be the farmer. I'm going to
Yeah.
be the cook. I'm going to be the everything.
Yeah. At a certain point, let me rephrase that actually. Do you think that, picture the system up and running, would
Okay.
you be comfortable just being the farmer or just being the cook or just being a manager of it all? But at some point, there's going to be other individuals involved. So
I would
would
be
you be
comfortable. I would be comfortable stepping away from it completely, knowing that the SOPs are in place.
The systems are in place.
Standard operating procedures.
Yeah.
That every individual portion of our business is run the exact same way by anyone that steps into that role.
But they have to be passionate about it.
But they have to be passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
You can have SOPs, standard operating procedures. Without passion, you have complacence.
Okay.
So, yes, I would step away from it. Yes, I would step away from portions of it with the belief that I know that the individual that takes over that role will be as passionate, if not more passionate about that individual role than I am. which is so rare
Mm-hmm.
in our current society that we have of, oh, well, there's a million jobs. You know, I can go work at Target for $22.50 an hour. Why the fuck would I care about this? I don't understand that. I've never understood that. I need to find like-minded individuals that, well, we're doing something here, which takes a sense of leadership in order to, you know, portray that type of vision. I think a lot of companies have gotten away from instilling the vision in the, you know, the process of a company. We don't just produce a product. I'm not KFC.
Experience.
I'm not KFC. I'm not making Kentucky Fried Chicken in a bucket and I'm just dousing it out in a million different things. That's not what I want. I don't want my businesses to ever be franchised. I want them to be unique. I want them to be scarce.
Yeah.
Because scarcity not only breeds intrigue, but it also breeds innovation. And I want that for the business that I create. Whether that be food, whether that be a million other things. I don't have a million things on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on a million things at any point in time.
Yeah.
But I think that's the key. Allow scarcity and breed passion. If you don't do those two things, go to fucking McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you answered it, but you didn't quite answer it. So to me, it doesn't sound like you'd be comfortable being... You'd have to either be in it or completely out of it, knowing that the system was in check. You couldn't be the chef cooking up things that you knew in the background was being taken care of, do you
Not
think?
necessarily. Not necessarily. No, I would absolutely allow someone else to take care of the back end if I knew that they were actually
good.
doing their job.
Yeah. Okay.
I have an inherent distrust of people.
Yeah.
And I think it's bred from my background. But I don't trust people to actually do the right thing. I don't believe that integrity is a natural influence of humanity. I don't.
Kind of like the shopping cart theory.
The shopping cart theory, exactly.
Explain.
So the
The
most
principle.
moral principle of integrity is you have places to put your shopping cart.
When you go out to the parking lot, do you leave it next to your car, or are you morally responsible and do you push it back? All those 5-6 car spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not inherent to have integrity.
Yeah.
It's not beneficial to have integrity 9 times out of 10. It's not in the core belief of humanity to have integrity. It's a learned behavior and is an instilled behavior to have integrity, to do the right thing, even if it may be a detriment to yourself. We are inherently selfish individuals. We are.
Yeah.
I'm fucking selfish as fuck. But I have to catch myself in my selfishness. Being like, is my selfishness a deterrent on individuals that are around me? That's integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I'm doing going to have a negative outlook on the individuals that are around me? That's not natural as a human. That's a learned behavior. And I think that's something in our society that has just been cast by the wayside. It's all about individual. You are you who you are. No one can tell you any different. You need to be everything that you are to yourself. You need to be good to you. You need to build yourself up. No, fuck that. I'm a piece of shit. The only way that I have any sort of relevance or value is the things that I bring to the individuals around me. What I can bring to the table. That brings me, that is my value. Not what I can bring to myself. I could be a selfish piece of shit, kill everyone in this entire apartment complex, steal all their shit, and be a hermit up here. I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not humanity. That's animalistic culture.
When you die, do you want people to remember you for what you did or who you are?
Exactly. When we get back to what is my biggest fear, both of you guys answered that. My biggest fear is dying without anyone remembering me. To just go into the fucking ether. To die and no one gives a fuck. That's my biggest fear.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest fear. To not have a single individual remember me for something that I did in their lives. I'm not saying I'm this great individual influencer, but I hate the term influencer. Oh, you're on social media? You have big tits? No, you're not a fucking influencer. You're not. You're bastardizing the name of being an influencer. You know what an influencer is? An influencer is a man when I was 17, when I was about to fucking kill myself, who told me, hey, bud, you may think you may think your life is hard. Here's the thing. Life's always going to be hard. Get the fuck over it. That's a fucking influencer. That's a person that looks you straight in the eye, straight into the fucking soul, and tells you
to avoid your problems.
No, not avoid your problems. No. That's not what I'm saying. It's an individual that tells you, oh, you think this is hard? Work through it and get better. Work through it and get better, because if you don't, no one will.
Mm-hmm.
If you give up right now, you will never be able to be the example to those that come after you that can learn from your experience.
Do you know Gary Vaynerchuk?
I know the name.
Gary V? He has a philosophy of the honey empire.
Okay.
So it's, I'm going to outcompete the fuck out of you with great intensity,
Okay.
but I'm going to do it with honey instead of vinegar. Very nicely.
I'm about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to somebody about this. It was like, I'm going to be the most fucking nice person you will ever fucking meet. Like,
Oh, so you're going to be a Mormon.
no.
I'm about it.
But it's an interesting mentality of like,
Sorry for all the Mormons out there. No, I just watched a crazy fucking documentary.
yeah, you've been really hyped on that.
I'm really fucking hyped on it, dude.
But it's like this uncommon intensity of, I'm going to be more giving than you fucking will ever be.
Okay.
And the fucking is just more intense, more competitive about it, in a sense.
So
And that's his
ideologically,
take.
it's literally the mantra of Christianity is being turn the other cheek and being nothing but you can't hate me. Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead. That's all I had. Was his idea of the honey empire.
So I
which
love
like.
I love the Honey Empire. It's so counterintuitive to being human. Turning the other cheek is the most counterintuitive thing you could possibly be as an individual. So I went to this EDM show with my buddy Connor. I got hit square in the fucking face, right here. Everything went red, knocked the dude out.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
I knocked the dude out. In the mosh pit, knocked him out cold. This was like 2 weeks ago. That is human nature. You get hit, you hit back. Honeypotting.
Isn't that more equal, though? Isn't that more of a neutral thing? Because it was a hit and a hit?
No.
Because?
You had to pull the little marble back in order to cause the
So you can either have a cause and reaction,
Yeah.
or you can have a cause and no reaction. And that non-reaction leaves this area of thought of what the fuck? And that what the fuck question can cause improvement. And 9 times out of 10 does. So let's say there's a guy on Joe Rogan, and he talks to white supremacists,
I know this man.
and I've listened to a bunch of his stuff, and I'm probably going to bastardize quoting him, but he simply said, there's nothing better than to react to hate than understanding. Not hate to hate, not hate to contradiction. It's just, okay.
and sometimes it makes them angrier.
It does.
And that's very invigorating.
It makes you angry because you have to question, why the fuck do I think this way?
Why aren't they reacting?
Why the fuck I have a call and response system in my brain of I'm calling out all this fucking terrible shit, and I expect you to react in a certain way, and if I don't, it makes you think. That's the beautiful thing about human communication, that we can cause this, what the fuck? What do you mean you're not going to react in the same way? And I think that's something that's so lacking in our current society, of where you have
Like eating bugs.
eating bugs. I mean, I like to eat bugs. We love grasshoppers. They taste like crunchy potato almonds.
How does this connect to the EDM show, though?
Sorry. Yeah, I'll bring it back to that.
But because that was an equal reaction of force.
Equal reaction of force. So had the guy fucking socked me in the face, looked at me, and I'm just like, whatever, shrugged it off. He wanted the response from me.
So he gave it to him.
He looked me dead ass in the eye after fucking punching me in the face, and he wanted that response from me. Had I not given him that response, his aggressive actions would have meant nothing.
Okay.
It would have meant absolutely nothing. It was a very simple example. But it's also very telling.
So do you think in hindsight you shouldn't have hit him?
Oh, in hindsight, I absolutely should have hit him. He was a piece of shit.
Oh, wait. You didn't hit him?
I did hit him.
Oh, okay.
In hindsight,
you shouldn't
I'm
have.
happy I hit him.
Oh. But I thought the moral of what you guys were saying was...
I'm not saying I'm perfect.
Okay.
That's
But you're still...
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm using that example as, if I hadn't hit him, could have that evoked some sort of questionable response? And then from that, it's an EDM show. You're not going to be able to sit down and have a conversation about it, obviously. But what I'm saying is...
Pull up the equipment and just set up.
Exactly. Pull out the equip, be like, what's up? Bwomp, 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 bwomp. Let's talk about our feelings. Bwomp, 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 bwomp. Yeah, not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that was just a very simple example. I'm talking about...
Of what not to do.
Of what not to do. Don't be
Even though
mean.
you're glad you did it.
Oh, I'm a awesome example of what not to do.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is... That's a very simplistic example, but I think that's a very negative in this terrible portion of our society today, of where let's turn the other cheek, let's not be reactive, let's have a motherfucking conversation about things. Why can't we talk about climate change in a civil conversation? Why can't we talk about...
Or non-emotional.
Or non-emotional, exactly. Why can't we talk about the LGBTQIA plus... tilde movement? Why can't we talk about that in a civil and loving manner? I love you, Bosch. You love me. Mm-hmm. We may differ on topics, but above all else, we have a general respect for one another when we're talking about things.
Yeah.
We could wholeheartly disagree. I could be a fucking neo-Nazi.
Yeah.
And talk about how I hate everyone, and if you're not blue-eyed blonde hair, white, you're the scum of the earth. But I would still argue that we would be able to have a conversation about it and talk. Like, I don't understand. Like, when I talk to, as I said, I'm a centrist, green thumb, conservative. I'm very central, liberal, whatever. I don't understand when I talk to a lot of my friends on the far left about topics like climate change, about topics like the LGBTQ community, about all these other things. They won't even talk about it. If I differ from them at all, or if I bring up an opposing argument, just even if I'm playing devil's advocate, I'm a racist, I'm a bigot, I'm a piece of shit, and I'm from the 1940s and I believe in Jim Crow. It makes no goddamn sense. It makes no sense.
Yeah, just
that
asking questions.
I'm literally just speaking from my white privilege, that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Well, yes, I'm white. I'm a male. And in the current educational society, I'm the fucking devil. Being a straight white male, oh my god, I'm the fucking devil. I'm the worst thing that could fucking walk the face of the planet. I went through all of that in college. I don't think I'm the devil. I'm a pretty nice guy. You know, I'll fucking cook you dinner. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
My brother's a part of, a community that I don't necessarily agree with. I don't give a fuck. Live your life how you are. Just Don't force it upon me. That's my main mantra.
Yeah.
That's my main thing. Do your thing. As long as you're not hurting other people or hurting yourself, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But when I try to have conversations with individuals about these big red ticket items, you can't. You can't have just civil conversations. Because if you bring up a argument that is even remotely contradictory, I'm very pro LGBTQ rights. You should be able to do whatever the fuck you want. But I don't believe that should indoctrinate 3, 5, 7-year-olds in schools. I don't think sexuality should be talked about in elementary school. I just don't. Any sexuality. It was never taught to me. I don't think that's right. Kids should be kids. But if you bring up any sort of ulterior, 1, information, or 2, viewpoint, oh, you're a bigot, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not a fucking bigot. I'm not. I just want to have a genuine conversation about any of these topics. I just want to talk about it. But you can't.
Yeah.
You can't talk about these
Yeah.
things. It drives me crazy.
Why?
And I don't understand it. Why? Why? Why?
I've twice now gone out front of the Planned Parenthood in Fort Collins asking for people to come on and talk about their opinion. And I want to get, if I can, 2 people of opposite sides to have a discussion and moderate.
I would love to talk about that, because I think so. I am.
Let him finish.
All I was going to say is I was surprised in general and of both sides of how many people holding signs did not want to be broadcasted.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like, I'm fine with being on the street and I feel firm in my beliefs, but not firm enough to just tell people and me to give you a platform. And this goes for both sides, because I've talked to both outside the front.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that was something personally that was surprising to me. I'm like,
That's interesting.
if you're out here in an activism mode of protesting, whichever side you are, taking a very moderate point of view on this,
Absolutely.
I'm giving you the option, not a big platform, but still a platform
to speak your
to
voice.
be broadcast, and
Yeah.
it would be a public situation where you can send this link out to anybody and it be broadcasted. And
think-
the lack of interest and one more thing, just apprehension of, like, some people were like wide-eyed, like terrified of the idea when I brought it up.
I think there's a lot of facets to that. I think, 1, the cancel culture that we live in.
Yep.
If you're not neo-left, you'll get destroyed. Or that was what the culture has been for the last 5-6 years. Secondarily, if you're broadcasted and you present your beliefs, that means that could be challenged
Yep.
on either side, which is terrifying for so many people, because they're not willing to listen to the opposition. They're not willing to listen to their ideas and what could contradict their ideas. Tertiary, being out there is scary. Being willing to put your ideas out there are scary, because, well, what if I'm wrong? And 4th, I think we live in a world where we're very comfortable sitting behind something, whether that be a screen, whether that be your Twitter profile, whether that be your Instagram. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Hell, I used to have like 3 fake profiles to where I'd just fucking troll people, my friends. I just troll them. And it was awesome. I say whatever the fuck I wanted. And it was awesome. I think a lot of people live in this mindset of where you can absolutely do that in every aspect of your life. But you can't. Social media is not real. The internet's not actual life. I think a lot of people need to get out into nature to where they have no cell phone reception. You have no Google Maps. You have no nothing. It's scary, man. It's scary. When you're out there, there's a fucking thunderstorm rolling in and you have no service. It's just you. I think we've gotten so far away from that human aspect of you can only rely on yourself. But I think that's why. I think no one wants to talk about these things, or no one wants to, talk to the other side because, one, I could be wrong. Two, this could blow up in my face. Three, well, I'm firm in my belief and fuck them. But I would love, if you wanted, to have me on, and I will happily talk about the discussion. Coming from I'm adopted.
Yeah.
All my siblings are adopted. And I would love to talk about that. If you had someone that was I'm not wholeheartedly pro-life.
Yeah.
But I would love to talk to
You
somebody
could
that's...
be a good advocate
Yeah.
on the other side. Yeah.
I could be a mediator.
Yeah.
If you wanted. Because I know both sides. I know both sides very well. I've been in both situations. And abortions, it's a very difficult topic.
It's tough.
Because
Very complex.
both sides throw around the extremes as if they're normal. Rape, incest, blah, blah, blah. That makes up like 3%. Maybe 3% of everything. And it's used as this main, like, ticker stag's not the right word. Ticket market of where it's like, this is the main thing. That's also not the right word. I apologize. But they're using it as this main, like...
A picket? Or is that an offense?
A picket is an offense.
Right. Isn't you hear about people picketing on the corner?
That's protesting.
Oh, shit.
Because you have a picket sign.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
it's made
okay,
from
that's
the
what
wood
I'm
from
It's
the
thinking.
made
fence.
from the wood from a fence.
Okay, all right.
But they made this main ticket item
There you go.
of like,
Found it.
this is the mainstream. Well, in reality, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tiny, tiny little percentage. But also, like, it's... One side says you're killing babies. The other side says you're killing...
Women's rights.
Women. Not even rights. You're either killing women or you're killing babies.
Are the
Those are the
extremisms.
extremes.
Yeah.
And there's this massive gray area in between.
Where most people actually lie as well, I believe.
I would argue to say 65% of most people, and maybe more, are like right in the middle. They don't agree it should be completely abolished because there are situations that it should be used, but it also shouldn't be used as a form of contraception. I would argue that at least 65 to 70% of individuals believe that. Hell, one of my old roommate's girlfriends was like, I don't use birth control. Abortion is my birth control. And I'm like,
That's so
oh,
sketchy.
man, that is a nasty extreme.
Yeah.
It's a nasty extreme, and I do not subscribe to that narrative. I really don't. You have life in you,
Yeah.
regardless of how long it is in you, and if you want to categorize it as a human. But using abortion as your contraception is fucking bonkers to me. It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Just get on the pill. Use a fucking condom. Have him pull out, at the very least. Or just... We can get into all the different specifics of different scenarios, but... Fuck, man. Fuck. You want to use it as a form of contraception? If I get pregnant, fuck it.
Yeah.
Abortion's available. Well, no.
Yeah.
That should not be your form of contraception. I don't think it should be so liberally used. And by liberally, I mean excessively used as it is today.
Yeah.
But I also don't believe that it shouldn't be available. And the middle ground there is, we can have a discussion about it. We can figure out where the best solution is. I'm not I'm not an expert on the topic, but I also believe that using it as a form of contraception is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you also get into, issues of climate change. And you have all these big notions of the world's gonna burn, oil's so bad, blah, blah, blah. But on the other side, they're like, no, oil's good. You need to produce. You need to... Again, it's a multifaceted issue.
It's like, let's find the middle here.
Let's have a fucking conversation about it. I'm not
First,
about
yeah.
burning the fucking rainforest, but I'm
Yeah.
also not about let's not produce any oil. because I'm wearing a fucking polypropylene shirt.
Mm-hmm.
You know where that comes from? Oil.
Yeah.
Do you have a cell phone? 90% of that's made from byproducts of oil. You use any plastic products? Oh, that comes from oil. So it's an insane.
Yeah. And the devil's in the details.
Exactly.
Is what nobody wants to get into.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And it's not any side's directly right. To me, they all have half truths.
They all have half truths. You know, the people that are very pro oil arguably work in oil, and so it is in their best interest to promote it to the absolute extreme for profit gain. The people that work in the opposite, again, they have companies that work for things that are anti-oil. They're able to make money on it, and they are producing it to the absolute extreme to make profit on it.
Yeah.
And then we rely on this weird middle ground of, why can't the fuck we just have a conversation about it?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is it so taboo to have a fucking conversation? Because, like, I worked in the oil field. My background is in geology and applied geophysics. Why can't I talk to you about oil? Just because I may be a little bit more pro-oil than you? I want to watch the world burn? Fuck no. Mm-hmm. Dude, I worked in environmental for years. Abby is hungry, and she's looking at me, asking me to cook some food.
I thought she was saying pregnant.
No, she's not pregnant.
Pregnant.
No, mama's away. No babies.
No babies yet.
No mames means we don't suck dick here.
Oh.
I learned that when I worked construction. It's like, don't suck dick, like, don't fuck up. No mames way. I don't know anything. Abby's saying I don't know anything. I disagree.
They
I know
can't
some
hear
things.
you, Abby.
I know some things.
You
So
hop
you're
on your
mute,
mic.
so you don't know anything.
You don't exist right now.
You don't exist. You're in the
Oh,
ether.
she's coming over. Uh-oh.
No mames.
I just argued that that's not what he thinks it means.
No mames means don't suck dick. I swear to God.
Okay, please, but that has nothing to do with me getting pregnant.
No,
Yeah.
no pregnant.
If anything, sucking dick would help you not get pregnant.
I'm fully
because
aware.
you
I
could
just
come in that hole.
I just wanted.
You
to,
know that, right?
I just wanted
Oh,
to say it.
yeah.
I'm fully.
We
Well,
love
I don't know
holes.
anything.
Yeah, I liked the
I just
combo.
come in the ether, dude. Just out there.
In the zeitgeist?
Well, yeah. I come so hard.
The
that
Blue
just
Man Group.
Into
Just
the
gone.
Blue Man Group?
Yeah, they're all my children.
Oh. Well, there's only 4 of them.
They're all my children.
All 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
You did well
bald-
on your kids.
all bald
Thank you.
men.
They're
They're
quite musically talented.
They are. They've been going for a while.
They're also
too.
quite blue.
Quite blue.
Comes from the blue balls.
Mm.
Can
Thoughts?
confirm.
Can confirm from Abby. Can confirm.
How long have we been going?
2:37.
2:37. Can you wait 15 minutes so we can hit a solid 3 and call it good?
Sure, dude.
Did you have anything else you wanted to cover?
Specifically, no.
Mm.
None
I
off the
love
top of my
plants.
head.
I have my wrap-up question.
Wrap-up question. Hit me. Hit me with a hard
It won't
one.
be
Oh,
15
jeez.
minutes, so I have something else for you.
Oh, I could hit it with 15
I have
minutes.
notes of fun things to ask. That's what I was trying to pull up. I wasn't trying to be rude.
You are rude. You're very rude.
Wait.
What's a
Rude.
good... I have a list of questions I always
Oh,
love
hit
to
me
ask.
with the questions.
Hmm.
All the questions.
I have actually many, but
Hit me
the
with
one I'm
so
going to
many.
go with
Shotgun fire me in the face.
in all of your holes.
all of my
all
holes.
my questions in all
all
of your
the
holes. Me and a friend were talking the other day.
Okay.
That I don't think this was not recorded, but I've talked about the idea recorded, I believe. Anyways, we're both Colorado natives,
Yep.
and so the grand scheme of things is, I firmly believe get yourself right, get the individual right, then
Yep.
branch out to your family,
Yep.
and then from there your community.
I've heard you talk about this on your
Yeah.
podcast. Yes.
And so, I think it's it's far-reaching, but not so unattainable to say to try to attempt to make Colorado the best state ever. Is the idea?
I don't find that unobtainable.
It's not obtainable, but it is not in our grasp right now, obviously.
Absolutely not. So there's multifacets to that, in my personal opinion. One, there are 3 things you have to accomplish. One, you have to have a moral construct and a overall ideology that you're able to subscribe to. That is concrete.
To me, I think that is the truth, and I don't even
That's
know.
too abstract.
But here's the thing: is what we talked about is figuring that out through conversations that are through respect.
Sure, but if you're trying to take it to an entire state level,
'Kay.
that is encompassing millions of individuals,
Yeah.
you have to have a concrete construct of exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
No ambiguity, no gray area. It is concrete.
Yeah.
Secondarily, you have to have a reaching influence to where you're able to reach every individual within the state,
Mm-hmm.
and you're able to convince them that your concrete construct is the way to go. Thirdly, you have to have a uniform audience that is both receptive as well as constructive upon the information that you provide them in order to go towards a ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that's obtainable,
Mm.
in my personal opinion. One, you will always have ways that your concrete construct is able to be broken down. Two, the way that you're able to reach every individual. Let's say you get onto a news source. Not everyone watches the news.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to reach out into, well, what other ways are you able to reach people?
Yeah.
Social media, TikTok. Well, not everyone's on TikTok. Not everyone's on social media. So what do you use then? Radio? Pamphlets?
Print, baby.
Print.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So if you want every individual, okay, not even every individual, let's say 80%, which is an enormous amount,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
reaching that 80%, but also convincing them that you're right towards a eventual goal, that's a hard sell. And then getting everyone on both sides, regardless of whatever you are promoting, to agree, that's an even harder sell.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying, but that's
It's big.
that's big.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're not able to do it. I'm
Yeah.
saying that's one hell of a fucking challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with how polar everything that we live in right now is.
I think it feels that way, but actual people are not that way.
Individuals are not.
Yeah.
The collective is.
That's why this is so great, is it kind of dissolves some of that. Right.
I wholeheartily agree. The issue is, are you going to have this conversation with every individual in
I am.
Colorado?
Metaphorically.
Metaphorically.
Like, I'm
maybe.
not. That would almost be possible just with people dying, if you think about it like that. If you take it literally.
Literally.
But, if you hit everybody, let's say in every family, that's a start.
It's a huge start.
Stuff like that.
And locally, I guess if you're just going to Colorado, I don't know what the total population of Colorado is, but if you're hitting a family structure within Colorado, let's say each family is worth 3, you hit a third of that? Sure.
Yeah.
But you have to have them buy in
Yeah.
and actually do something.
Yeah.
As humans, we are inherently immobile.
We're inherently selfish, but if the grand scheme of things is making this area better, which is then feeding that selfish point of view of what's good for me is going to be great,
Sure.
then you can play on those schemes like you're talking
Yes,
about.
but as humans, we are inherently immobile. It is very difficult to get people to move on something.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I like that things are slow.
Oh, I do too. No, I wholeheartedly believe in your vision.
Yeah.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm fine with things being slow.
Yeah.
Because
as am I. You know,
just like
we're
your-
quite young.
just like this pot you got roasting right now. It was
Oh, yeah.
slow, but it's going to be good.
It's gonna
That's
be
the thing.
great.
Like, I'm fine with writing this out. That's partly why it's so great. I really appreciate starting this so early,
Mhm.
is I have more of a runway,
Absolutely.
so to speak.
Absolutely.
So, that's the goal.
And I appreciate that.
I
goal.
think if more people can spread at least the sentiment
Mhm.
in general, and then who gives a shit what the national economy's like? If we had such a cool cultural foundation within Colorado of just like, who cares what's going on around us? We have our own. And again, we have to fully develop these things, but then it also comes out of these multiple conversations.
Okay.
Then we develop these principles. I think of them as principles, because principles are a little bit different than rules. Because
I
rules can be
wholeheartedly
breaking,
agree.
but principles aren't. But principles have to be of a different cut of cloth compared to rules.
Principles are of their own fluidity.
Yeah.
I would agree. But then I would argue, on top of that, how do you prevent people from bastardizing the system that you create?
That's the tough part.
Do you
because
ignore them?
You can ignore them; they're still here, and
No.
they'd be part of the
What's
You
they-
definitely don't ignore them.
No,
Okay.
they'd be
Good
part of the
question.
construct of the state. If you're thinking of it as
Would you
statewide,
include them in your?
That's a good idea of ignoring,
I'm
but then
just curious.
it puts them under the carpet, and then they're still there. They still exist.
it creates a
Maybe
microcosm
make
that then
worse
festers.
problems.
It's
Yep.
it's like, do you ignore an infection on your foot, and then it spreads to the rest of your foot, and then your leg, and then it takes
You
over
just-
the entire body?
You could just wrap it up, and it looks good. But
Well, you
then-
can.
but it doesn't work.
You can cut it off too.
Yeah,
But that's not going to be good for the entire body.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So I believe heavily in everything coming to the light.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Like I said, why the fuck can't we talk about things?
Yep.
Why can't we talk about things? I
When-
don't get it.
I've had many conversations, not many, but a good handful of conversation with people where I'm like, I see things as this, many topics, some of them polarizing. I see this connects to this, and this right over here, this, but definitely not this. And they say, no, this to this, but why the hell would you say that?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, let's dive into why you think that.
Yeah.
And then you pull those apart, and then they have no foundation and no backing to
Mhm.
those. I'm like, okay, let's throw those away unless you can bring an actual support to those, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a simple, like, taking apart things and, like,
Conversation and fact, then form your opinion.
yeah, that's the whole idea.
But also, understand that opinion is not concrete. I think a lot of people have this weird ideology to where my opinion is fact and it is concrete.
Yeah.
No. We're humans. We evolve every single day, and our experiences form our opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll constantly change.
I even have, and this is a bit of a hyperbole, but in a sense that science isn't necessarily fact.
No,
Like,
it's
I
not.
am prepared for evolution to be unproven. Right now,
Disproven.
disproven, thank you. And then prepared to adapt to whatever that means.
Absolutely.
Whatever
well,
it's hard to picture the downstream effects of that, but I believe I'm big advocate of looking at things through an evolutionary lens.
absolutely.
But I'm like, if that was disproven and you had good evidence and it was solid and foundational and all that, I'm like, hey, cool. Where do we pivot from here?
well, that's the whole thought process of it's all theory.
Yeah.
And I think we're in this idiotic state of believing that theory is fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can think along a theoretical path, but it doesn't mean that it's fact.
Yeah.
Evolution is a theory. The Big Bang is a theory. We don't have data. We don't have, you know what I mean?
We have like
It's-
rough estimates. Like
we have
looking
rough
through the
estimates. We have
keyhole
carbon
to a-
dating, blah, blah, blah. But we're still looking through a lens that's this big.
A keyhole to a hotel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all a theory.
Yeah.
And the fact that a lot of people base their entire mental construct on this theory is fact. Well, sure, maybe in your reality.
Not even mental construct, but identity.
Identity.
That's where a lot of.
Oh my
a
God! You
problem
talk to people
comes
about
from.
climate change. Talk to people about climate change, and they're fucking mental.
Yeah.
The world's gonna burn. Is it? Are you sure?
Is it literally burning?
Is it
or-
burning right now? Yeah,
what-
we have some areas that are burning, but is the world gonna end?
Yeah.
Are you positive?
Yeah.
Are you positive? Have you heard of Milankovitch cycles? Do you know that CO2 used to be the highest it's ever been during an ice age? Are you positive in your construct?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, it's fact. We're dead. We're dying. I'm not sure you're correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like, even talking about the LGBTQ community and identifying with all that, like trans kids and everything, like I think above all ideological communities, that is their identity. They are nothing but that. Why? You're a human. You decide to make actions towards a particular portion of your human, but that's not everything that you are. I'm a male. But just because I'm male doesn't mean that I do, like, that's not everything that I am.
That affects my decisions and,
Exactly.
and my happiness. And
Exactly.
everything like
I have testicles. It doesn't mean that that's everything.
that. Yeah.
And I think that's just a strange construct
Yeah.
to me, to where you choose to do something, and that's everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
I used to like to rock climb. That wasn't my identity. I loved to rock climb, but that wasn't me. And I think, like you said, it's a strange thing of where you start taking ideas and it becomes your identity. I'm like, no, we're human. We are who we are. That's not who you are. You're far more complex than just one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hit me with that question, my friend.
So my grandma didn't write it down, so I forgot what it is.
Oh my.
So we'll go back on the previous one.
The previous one.
Wait, 10 seconds, and I'm going to try to remember what it was.
Oh, Abby's passed the
I
fuck
forgot.
out.
I really want to hit her hand out.
That'd just be mean,
That'd
though.
be so mean.
For all you listeners, Abby's passed the fuck out.
In the chair like this. And the mean side of me just wants to knock that hand out from under her head.
Bop.
And wake her up. But I won't. Because I'm a good human. No.
Are you?
I'm a piece of shit.
We're all a piece of shits
Yeah.
in this cesspool of nothingness.
I do like this question, so I'm not... I appreciate this question, actually. What was a redeeming experience from the pandemic for you?
A redeeming experience from the pandemic. I was really able to lean into cooking during the pandemic. Both my parents are a little bit older, and so I did all the cooking, all the shopping, and everything. So I had full culinary freedom, if you will. I really leaned into it. I really, really leaned into it. I was able to cook anything and everything that I wanted, spice it the way that I wanted. You know, my parents are traditionally, salt and pepper. Pepper's a little bit spicy. My mom is white as fuck when it comes to food. She doesn't like spices. She thinks pepper's spicy.
Mm-hmm.
And I cooked wholeheartedly how I wanted, which was liberating in the way that my parents actually started to enjoy good seasoned food.
Mm-hmm.
We all got a little fat, but it was good.
Yeah.
We ate good fucking food. And that was one redeeming quality. Another one was I was able to spend so much quality time with my family. Needed quality time with my family. And a lot of people didn't like that time. Did it bring up aberrations in the family? Did it force us to work through things that we didn't want to fucking work through because we were very stagnant in the way that we wanted to just chill? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. We were also able to work through a lot of things, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Also, not having to work for fucking 3 months was pretty fucking great.
Yeah. Taking time off.
Yeah, I worked out every day, cooked every day, took my dog on a walk every day.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I liked the pandemic, personally.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see friends, but we made the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
We did Netflix watch parties. I got so many people into tabletop RPGs where we were doing RPGs like every 3 days. Like people that were like, oh, you guys are nerds playing RPG. And they were like, oh, we're bored. What is this? It's like, you want to play D&D? And they were getting into it. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. What about you, Abby? What was a redeeming quality of the pandemic? In the meantime, I'm going to go pee again.
I don't know. I think I blocked most of it out.
Hmm.
Not intentionally, kind of just all blurred together.
Okay. Like you kind of just phased through it?
Yeah. I mean, I worked most of the time.
Okay.
I worked for this lady on her farm,
Okay.
and she had sheep. It's cool. I got to drive a tractor. It was a really nice John Deere. I don't remember what kind, but
I kind of
Fields.
had a similar experience.
yeah, filled some holes, brushed her dogs. I just did labor for this lady. I redid her whole entire backyard. I landscaped all of it. it was a great time. And then, yeah, I just worked, kept myself busy.
Yeah, I was working a lot of 12-hour shifts when that hit, and some weeks were like 70, 80-hour weeks, but I loved it.
Didn't even
loved
notice.
what I was doing.
Yeah.
I want Matt to come back because he said it allowed him to work out some things in his family, because they were all stuck together, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it allowed me not to do that, in a sense of be out of the house partly the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard that, Matt.
I didn't.
You were saying it was good in the sense of your family got to work out some things that you guys had.
Yeah.
And me and Abby were talking more on a similar experience of we just kind of worked like a dog.
Left.
I
And
worked like a dog
yeah.
when pandemic hit, because I was thankfully enough on a remote ranch I worked at that was also a rehab center.
Sure.
And so my shifts were 7 to 7, 12 hours.
Okay.
And then some nights I would stay night watch, not night watch per se, but night duty, where I had to sleep in the facility.
Gotcha.
Just in case somebody was on standby and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't really count those hours, but then doing that at least 6 days a week, and then sometimes on the 7th day doing something else hourly,
Yeah.
being like 70 hours a week, 80 hours a week sometimes. I, for better or for worse, had the opportunity not to have those conversations with my family
Gotcha.
that we might have needed.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So just not good or bad, just different, right?
Yeah, very
juxtaposed. Like you guys, when you see people, interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a lot of interesting people today.
Do you have a particular one? Did anything stick out?
Most?
Just a lot of very granola individuals that were like,
No, we like to play guess that stereotype sometime.
yes, we
And
do.
I'll say, okay, it's one word, 3 syllables. And I say, you just saw the people walk by? And he goes, yeah, all right.
I was like,
Try and guess.
Yuppie. Nope, that's 2 syllables.
Hipster.
Unoriginal.
I said no.
Unoriginal.
And I was like, granola. Granola.
Like, bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
We were just waiting for our food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting that you guys didn't have a similar experience to me, because I've had a lot of conversations with other people, and they're like, it was awful. We were constantly fighting, blah, blah, blah. And like, pre-pandemic, I've had a horrible relationship with my father. But then I stepped up during the pandemic. You know, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was doing all this stuff, and it instilled an old school respect
It
in my
changed
dad.
his role.
It changed my role in the family from just being the baby in the family that, oh, I'm a provider, I'm able to do this, that, or the other. Which is nice. Which is really nice. But yeah, it's just interesting that you guys had a different... I'm not surprised, per se, that you guys had a different outcome. But
Yeah.
pandemic was weird, man.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Well,
It fucked a lot of people up.
It did. And especially, I was fortunate to be in more of a rural area and stuff
Sure.
like that, so I couldn't imagine
I
being
couldn't imagine being in like New
a
York
city
or fucking like
or
San
like
Francisco or
a
something.
family that's renting out of an apartment and stuff like that, and then being stuck inside and stuff like that. That would be a lot harder to have more things to be grateful for.
I completely
I don't
agree.
think it's impossible to be
Not impossible.
grateful of anything, but that would be a lot harder, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I had 12-hour shifts, so I was making good money in the sense of just hourly,
Yeah.
doing something I liked. I
Yeah.
could take my dog out because we were doing outdoor stuff the whole time and hiking and doing group
Do you have a
therapy on
dog?
trails. It was my family dog, so to speak. I wish I personally had a dog. I'll show you photos of this one dog, actually. His name's Mr. Wiggles.
Oh.
That came into my life very briefly recently. But do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Not on the pandemic and stuff.
Okay.
No.
Just in general,
No.
to
not
wrap this
really.
up. Abby?
Mother
Well-
Nature's sick, dog.
Sick in the
Proverbial sense.
dying sense or in the sick, bruh?
Sick, bro.
Nice. Yeah, you guys are big plant energy.
Big plant people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
big
I
plant
love.
People. I'm so stoked that we were finally able to hang out.
Hmm,
Like
me
I
too.
said earlier, I was literally giddy as a kid And Abby's like, you look like a fucking kid waiting for a play date for your friend to come over. I was like, 'cause I am. I love Sir Reginald Washington III. I love him.
He's been talking about it for like the past 3 days.
Yeah. I'm glad this trip could work out.
Me
It was
too.
kind of spur of the moment too. It was a little unplanned.
That's
but
how we live
it
our
worked out
lives.
well.
Yeah,
that's
it's
how I
better
live.
that
That's how I
way.
live my life. At
Yeah.
least I hate planning things.
Yeah.
I hate it. It gives me anxiety.
Mm.
I don't know why. I think it's just
Because you don't want to upset people, and so
No,
then
I don't
there's
wanna
a
let people
future
down.
thing of
Yep.
something. I'm like of a possibility you could upset somebody,
yeah.
and that's what I would
That's
say.
absolutely what it is.
It is. Yeah.
I hate planning things.
We concrete plan very few things.
Yeah.
I hate concrete
Because then
planning.
it is
Rigid.
anxiety inducing. Yeah.
I hate it.
Alrighty. Well, this has been great.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. My
This
good
has
friend
been a hell
Maddie.
of a lot of fun. Wait, don't I get to ask a question?
Oh fuck me! Thank you. What is your question?
I haven't even thought about it yet, but I
Okay.
wanted to make sure
Shit.
that I get
All right.
to ask a
We'll let
question.
It's a
him
good
think.
thing. It's a good thing he remembered.
God, there's so many things to this that I always forget with the camera. You think of your question. Don't look at me.
I'll think of it.
I almost didn't put the memory card in when we started this shit. Good thing the app reminds me.
That
of
would have been terrible.
Yeah. I mean, we still would have had the audio because this recorder is so sound. So happy with this recorder. Hi, Zoo. You want one more camera time? Come here. Come here. Stand on my full bladder.
No, he will wreck your testicles.
He sat on me earlier.
Think of your question.
I'm thinking.
It can be. I like this. I personally love the serious ones, but we've had lighthearted ones. Whatever you want. You can ask a question too, since you're here, Abby, if you would like.
Okay, I'll think. I'll
Okay.
think.
And I'll.
What has been something that has happened in your life that has not only changed you as an individual, but has also changed your outlook on life?
Vague.
Yeah, it's vague as fuck.
Is it supposed to be like that?
It can be anything
can
you
be.
want.
Oh,
it's just
okay.
a question.
Okay.
No, what is the time in your life?
You can have a very specific one.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
What is a time in your life? Say it again. So
What is a time in your life that has changed you as an individual, but also has changed your outlook on life
perfect.
in any aspect,
Yeah.
whether that be politically or otherwise?
All right. Chickens or ducks?
Chickens or ducks?
Yep. Tell us next time.
Tell us next time, folks.